can't believe this. I don't know what to do. Let's try one other thing. Settings. Audio. Zoom L8 default Samsung speakers. No.
What's that?
There we go. We're back on. Kind of. Is this just bad connection?
Hello?
We're live now. All right. Everyone can hear me again. And I heard the little girl's voice. Hello. All right. We're back. I don't know what happened. If I close this down, we should be good. All right. I'm going to take this out of my ear, and we're going to talk about what we're doing here. 2520 North 2nd Street. That's where we find our recovery at. That's where we're at. It's called We'll Work for Recovery. It's a recovery center where you come down here, and just like the sign says, like, oh, I've moved signs all over. It's up there. Your voice is valid. Come on down, be on the show, check it out. There's a lot to kind of go over, and we'll go over it quick. There's probably not going to be as many people on the show tonight just because we got Wisnet going on, and we got a lot of people out of town, and this is a new time slot. There's all sorts of stuff going on that's a little different than before, and you never know. Like, we don't schedule any guests on, and people show up out of the blue. Like, we got Eddie coming in to hop on for a minute. You going to hop on real quick, bud? All right, so, again, 2520 North 2nd Street. You come down here. We've got meetings every day of the week here at We'll Work for Recovery. We do a football thing on Sundays while the Vikings season's going on. Like, we grill, fun day Sunday. There's a great men's meeting and a great women's meeting Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. Other than that, like, I think it's Solutions on 2nd Street, so every morning, 6:30 a.m., there's a great meeting every day at 1 o'clock, and every evening at about 7 o'clock, there's meetings. So every day of the week, you can come on down here and find some recovery, along with everything else you'll hear us talking about on air, where we find our recovery at. We share. We're not greedy with, like, networking our recovery. That's how I found that's how I found this place. I was over at New Way, and someone talked about We'll Work for Recovery 5+ years ago. And if it wasn't for people sharing about where they're getting their recovery at, I wouldn't know about this place and all sorts of other stuff. Come on in. What are you doing? Get in here. No peeking. Yeah. So, other than that, I think we're just going to jump on into it. It's looking like not a good start with our technical stuff, but we'll know as time goes on. And as the audience, you guys keep telling me, like, good or not, but my headphone says that we're good. I was out with the surgery last week, and that's why I was not here, but Maddie came in here and crushed it. I think we're going to integrate her into this podcast, and she'll either be like a co-host, or her and I will swap in and out, something. I had great feedback. You guys enjoyed hearing her host this show. The energy was good, and that's what we're looking for. Just anyone that wants to do it, come on down and talk to me. I'm okay. I'm not glued or married to this seat. This doesn't belong to me. This belongs to the recovery community. So, really good AA club in Faribault and Owatonna. Hell yeah. Thanks, Wendy. And that goes for anything. If there's a meeting that you really enjoy or you want the public to hear about, go ahead and put it in the comment section and make this public. Everyone's welcome. And they're, I see people like Squid Pop, and I'm all like, if you're more welcome to hop on, but will you guys, someone's to make sure it gets locked up at 8:30? Thank you, brother. Me? You are? No. That side, just the main center, 8:30. Thanks, brother. So, yeah, and I think Rob and we're going to talk about a new meeting that's getting started. Just basically, this whole recovery thing is like big-time networking stuff. And, like, I can't be greedy with my recovery. I'd die if I was, period. Especially when life shows up, and life shows up. Wait, where's the camera? Life shows up, and there's not much you can do about it. Welcome. Glad you guys showed up. You'll be on the air here in a sec. Or you can just hang out. So, let me introduce my guest. We got who are you?
Kendra.
Get on that mic uncomfortably close. Sir? Hey, sir. Who are you?
Rob.
And what was your name again?
Kendra.
So, let's get this out of the way. What were you talking about in there and you've been sharing about lately?
Me?
Let's get that out here. Let's talk about this. Bada
yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Well, let's see. What's the date today? It is the 6th. So, what do we think? What do we think, Timmy?
We're going to make the call right now?
Yep. Let's make the call. Let's make the definite start date.
Want to do?
Nope.
Want to do November the first Saturday on November?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, November 4th on Saturday. It's
Yeah.
Saturday at 10
a.m. Yep.
There will be a new Narcotics Anonymous meeting starting up where?
35th and Hennepin.
And the name of the place? Do we know that name?
Unified Art Collective, I believe
It's a tattoo shop.
But the tattoo shop's named Iktomi. I know that much.
Okay.
But it's also connected to an art shop. That's a it's basically it's pay if you can when you can.
Okay.
Art center. So there will be supplies, art supplies and whatnot. So if you're interested in drawing during the meeting or whatever, creating, you're more than likely to more than welcome to do so.
Oh yeah. During the meeting, after, whatever, we'll have it before and after for a half hour or so, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, like, if you have a hard time paying attention, or if you know what I'm saying, you're a phone guy or whatever, you can make some art during the meeting, and who knows, maybe.
So
draw pictures of Tim's fingers.
Sausage,
that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Sausage fingers.
But
so if anyone was at a place called like Addicts for Life, that's kind of gonna be what we're trying to mirror it after. It sounds like we're
that's
coming up
what I'm
with-
hoping
yes.
for. I'm hoping to have that vibe.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a rotating format. We got some people that are stepping up into service positions right away. We're gonna need more. We're gonna need people to come. Let's spread the word. I want to create something new, something with that same kind of AFL vibe, because there's a lot of
Right.
people around right now that didn't have that meeting. That's
No,
where I met you. That's
yeah.
where I met Tim.
I met a
and me,
lot of
and-
these people that I hang out with today from there.
Yeah, and it was it was a special meeting to me, and I'd like to kind of recreate that and maybe do some different things with it. So it's Saturday the 4th, right? November
Saturday the 4th, November
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yep.
And I'll be announcing it every week moving forward here,
Yep.
and Rob
So
will
the
be
4th.
announcing it. What we're gonna do is, hey, little mama, we're gonna try to let someone sit here. I want to see if that mic works for him, and if it doesn't, then we're gonna stick to 2 mics. We've been getting a lot of feedback and crack on that, but thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. This is you right there, little lady. All right, cool, Rob. Thank you. We are gonna get this thing going. You know what? Move for a minute. Kyle needs to sit down. You're coming back on. Don't leave. You're the one who's going to be the anchor of the show tonight. Yeah. No, we talked about that. That was a thing. Kendra.
No, we did not talk about
Yeah,
that.
I said I need you in here to
No,
talk. We're going to talk
no.
about the new meeting getting started. Come on. Because you're the only one I told about this. Oh, you're only. Oh.
He said he's here for support. See, he turned you down.
You know what? Watch this. Here, I got your support right there in camera. No, I'm joking. All right. Well, then, hey, who are you?
I'm Kenzie.
You know what? BS. You guys hear that? No, who are you?
I'm Kenzie. I'm an addict.
Welcome, Kenzie. You've been on the air once before or twice, haven't you?
Twice, I think.
Famous, Amos. So my understanding is you're here for some support too, kind of in a way.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? It is this. Listen, when I move this cord around, there we go. I think we're better now.
Better?
I think. You guys heard that big
Yes.
noise? So there's a crack in this cord. I ordered 2 new cords, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, you know what? Let's start this off. Kendra, how do you know about this place where we're at? We'll Work for Recovery. How'd you ever hear about it initially?
I found out about Ken. He started coming here through Heather, and I started coming here back in when it first opened on the other side of the building.
So you've been coming here for a while.
Yes.
And it was Ken who told you about it initially?
Yes.
All right. And now, this is always a follow-up question. If some stranger came to you, how would you explain this place to a stranger?
I don't know. I mean, I took pictures and sent them to them, but I mean, other than that, it's a chill place to be at. You know what I'm saying? It's a community. It's somewhere where it's a good meeting to start off at. If you're new in recovery.
Right. No, and I think that's good. And I want you to get out of your head about being worried about being on the show right now and just open up. I can tell. Just it's all good. And that's what I want is, like you said, how you would tell someone else that you don't know. So you've been coming here since we were on the other side. What does your recovery look like besides just coming here? What have you been doing? Because your story doesn't look like I've got 7 straight years of recovery.
No, it doesn't. So I relapsed in 21, and since then, I did 14 months of treatment. 2 months inpatient, 12 months outpatient. I go to 2 meetings a week. I recently just got a new sponsor, and I've been reaching out to women, more than I ever have, and trying to build good connections with solid women.
And that's made a difference, huh?
Yes.
You get more connected.
Yes.
So, now that you have not been on here since we were in the new spot, how did you initially hear about Will Work for Recovery?
So I came first when they were on the other side with somebody, and then didn't come back, relapsed. And then when I came back, me and my outpatient group and Kyle, and we all started coming here and found connection here.
What's your favorite part of this center, of Will Work for Recovery?
Being able to come and be myself and know that I'm not going to get.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, but hope that I'm not going to get judged for who I am. I know that like most traditional meetings are like very like straightforward and like sitting down and like not really talking, but here you're able to be comfortable and like gain that connection with people.
Connection. Dustin's in the room. We're going to have him on, and we're going to talk about this story about these rats that got put in a cage. And I'm going to go no further than that, but a lot of it has to do with connection. I think a lot of people know that story or how that goes, but blah, blah, blah. You know what, Rob? How did you hear about Will Work for Recovery?
The same way Kendra did.
Oh, bullshit. This
Yeah.
is a show. Talk about it. Ken?
No, for real, yeah.
What did he say? He's like, dude, you got to come check out this.
No, he had told me about it. And I can't remember what we were talking. I think I hadn't seen him for a while, so he called me to see what I was doing, and then he said he was checking this place out, and then I was hanging out with some people from the Sober and Serious crew, Keith Campbell and a couple others, and
Yeah, a lot of them were up here a lot too.
Yep, and they were like, "Hey, let's go to Will Work," and I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah."
You used to come to the Wednesday night men's meeting too, didn't you, back then?
Yeah, I used to basically come to every meeting they had here.
Yeah, that's where I met Ken.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Ken,
I
you know
think
what?
that
He
was
couldn't
it.
show up tonight, and he should be here, and I hope he listens. Because I tell him this story too. He was the biggest asshole. Because he'd come in there and talk about this, this eating, because he was the first one I ever heard talk. He wasn't in here for just, I don't want to tell his story, but it was like an eating disorder, but he talked about this place he went to, and he's real adamant about it. And I'm like, this dude's cocky as hell. But he was dropping weight, and he was living a program and following through with it at the time. So, like, we'll get him on here and let him tell that part of the story, because it's not for me to tell. Biggest hurdles in your recovery?
Isolation and not expressing myself.
How have you gotten over isolation and not expressing yourself?
Whew, after my relapse, something changed within inside me, and not wanting to be fearful and be myself, because I was not that the first 5 years of my recovery last time. And after I relapsed, I just kind of stuck my middle fingers up and did not care about what anybody thought, So,
You mean when you got back in the rooms after your relapse?
yes.
You put that on the back burner and like, I'm not going to worry about what people judge or care or whatever.
Yes, and putting up healthy boundaries for myself towards other people,
And how does someone figure something like that out? Was it a situation of just your relapse was so hard that you came in here so busted that it was like, fuck what anyone says? Or like, what was it how'd you make that turn to not care what people thought,
I think I was just, I was sick. I was sick and trying to connect with certain people that just wasn't, like there for me,
Right.
like, so, and then when I relapsed, it's like I wanted to die. I didn't care, you know what I'm saying, with all the things that I went through in my relapse, and then coming back in, like, I just had to set myself up with, healthy boundaries and worry about myself and my children, because I was not doing that in my recovery last time.
So like you brought up your children. I see you got your girls with you, and I know like family's doing good today. What would be your suggestion to a woman coming back in off of, let's just say, a relapse? I'm going to ask you the same thing so you can gear up for it. You know what? What would your Kenzie? What would your suggestion be to a woman coming in or considering coming in after a relapse? Like they go on a hard relapse and like it's that same story. Like I'd prefer to be be in the rooms of recovery.
Is there soft relapses?
Whatever. But there's that saying, I'd prefer to be in the rooms of recovery thinking about getting high versus being in the trap house thinking about recovery. Like, what do you say to someone who's on the fence? Like, I'm a woman who wants to get clean again. Like, what's your suggestion to someone like that?
Reach out. Learn how to have relationships with women, because I know that for myself and a lot of women that I've talked to, they had such a hard time gaining connections with women. And like, that's where I found so much of my strength, is like to be able to rely on my women and like be able to depend on them. So like reaching out, like just showing up and just coming and like being okay with not being okay.
I think that's a heavy statement to say that. And it's something you can't just pick up when you're like, oh, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Them are situations you just find yourself in and get through it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
so what do you say to someone? Was there someone that said something to you when you were considering coming back in? What got you to come back in from your last run? Like, what was that point? You know what I'm asking? Like, what was it? Was it just because there's so much legal shit? Your kids, like, what was it? And
No, honestly, the legal part did not matter. You know, as time went on in my using, my situation even got worse. You know, with the charges and with the situation. You know, I just wanted better for myself. You know, where I was. You know, it's like I wanted my own house. I wanted all these things for myself and for my children, because I don't want them to suffer like I did.
Well, let's not get this confused. You had some good clean time before you went back out, didn't you?
Yeah, almost 5 years.
And it was good 5 years for the most part, or was it just you were just not using?
I mean, I was coming to meetings. I wasn't fully engaged, I'd say. I was half-assing it.
That's a good question. What is the big difference between then and now?
My drive for doing something different, you know, working with sponsor, meeting with women, hanging out with women. I don't know. It's just, I want more in life than I did before, you know, and I'm not afraid. I'm not scared.
That's huge. Rob, I know you had, how much clean time did you have before you came in from a relapse? Because you had something like that, right?
I had originally tried to get clean back in, 2012. And then I had like 6 months. I got 6 months of sobriety, you know, and I started, like, I excelled really fast. You know, I'd got my teeth fixed. I got a car. I got my license. I got into college. I got a good job. Like, all these things, like, within 6 months. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, I'm going to celebrate. You know what I mean? I was like, I'll just drink some beer, you know? And like instantly the first night, like I broke my shoulder. I went to the ER. I got strung out on Opanas, I believe they were at the time.
Opanas.
And yeah, I made some very bad decisions. Felt really guilty, and then called my sponsor, of course, after the fact. You know, so you know, like if you've been around me and I've corrected you on something, it's not because I'm above you. It's because I did it too. You know what I mean? So I just want everybody to know that I'm not just being a dick. Part of it's just being a dick, yes. But the reason I do that is because I have done it too. You know, and I did these things too. So anyways, I went back to this Alano house that I was a part of. Got a new sponsor because that's whose fault it was, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
never
the
yours.
sponsor, and I did this back and forth thing for about 4 years. And in that 4 years, you know, all those things that I, you know, quote unquote gained, I lost. And I almost lost my life. I ended up getting addicted to another drug, and almost lost my life. Overdosed twice. You know, racked up a bunch of student loan debt. You know,
I know all about that.
Right. Lost the job. Lost the car. Lost a couple cars. You know, and basically it was by the time that I had finally gotten here, man, it was either I was gonna get clean or I was gonna die. And realistically, dying didn't sound all that bad. And I was that's what I was hoping for, but it just didn't quite happen. You know, God had a better plan for me, and He still does. You
Right.
know, and a lot of times I get confused along the way. You know what I mean? And I want to, you know.
But your
blame
faith
this or
keeps
blame
getting
that.
stronger and stronger daily, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely, yeah. But also, like, I'm getting tested more and more daily too. You know, and that's one thing that I notice is that, like, the more that the closer I get to God, like, the more the enemy wants to attack me.
The devil.
You know, yeah. So,
I didn't know what the enemy was earlier on.
Yeah, and I used to sit and think that like people were nuts when they talk like that.
I
you know,
get
was
it.
like, yeah, you know what I mean. I was
get
like,
it.
yeah, they're nuts until
You're in their shoes.
until you see God move. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Until you physically see something that you cannot explain.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, all right, you got my attention. Now what? You know. So yeah, I mean, I was like, because I was really trying to, and I think I was like trying to convince myself that I was like normal.
I think
You know what I mean? Because it was like, all right, so check this out, right? So like, I got on the meth, and then I quit the meth by drinking, and then drinking led to another DUI, I think my fourth one, and then I decided that using heroin would be a logical way to quit drinking, right? Because that's just brilliant, because that's what we do, you know. And then I told myself that, like, I was going to use it until it messed my life up. And sure enough, that's what it did.
That'll happen.
Over there flopping around, man. Settle down here.
No. I'm trying to work
Get
this.
me all distracted, man.
That's what we do. I got two other people
no.
hopping on, and then Kendra and Kenzie are coming back on after they're on. But Rob, we've never had you on here telling this aspect of your story either.
No.
And I think it's important too, because where your growth is at today, and the community sees it. Like, you're not shy about your spirituality side of things nowadays.
Absolutely not.
But I also know that we've shared about this back before your spirituality is like that. It was almost like, not that we poked fun at people that talk that way, but it was something, let's say what it was, something we didn't understand.
Oh, absolutely. I used to always think that people were nuts, and they were like, yeah,
Talk about
okay.
the enemy,
yeah, the
like-
enemy, and spiritual warfare and all that other
What
stuff.
would Jesus do? And
Yeah, right.
I get that.
I thought you were lame, but you know what's funny though is that I thought you were lame if you worked a program of recovery too. So here I am, 7.5 years later, man. I'm doing both,
Right.
baby.
It's, yeah.
Change is possible, but I'll tell you what, I'm happier now than I was then of judging people. You know what I mean? Now that I am one of them people,
Right.
But now I see life in a different aspect.
It's like through different lenses.
I don't see it how I used to, and I see people differently too, And not that like I don't struggle with like, picking things up and thinking of my old ways, because it happens, I do. You know what I'm saying? But like for the most part, like in a general census, like when people behave in certain ways, I'm able to actually empathize with them and think about their path and what it was like for them to get to where they are. Because I know that like
'Cause
we
you were
all
there.
well, then we all have things about ourselves that we don't like, you know what I mean, that we want to change and that we try our best, and sometimes we just fall short, and I'm one of them. So the longer that time goes on, like the better of understanding I can get, you know what I mean, and that's been the beauty of it, is because it doesn't. If I'm sitting there judging people for things that I do too, well, how am I any better than anything, So and it's hard, it's not easy.
It's a what do they say? Daily reprieve.
Absolutely, I still want to hang on to stuff, and I still there's things obviously that like I'm not gonna like, but anybody can change. That's the truth, is that anybody can change. So
Amen. Amen. Yep. You know it. I hope you guys can hear us. I haven't been on that side of things, but real quick, Rob's gonna hop off, and you're gonna not leave the room because Ryan's gonna come hop on.
I still might.
Come on. All right, we got 3 new people on the show right now.
Yo, real quick, this is the first time I saw this man wear a complete shirt.
Hey, Rob, what'd you just say?
It's the first time I saw you wear a complete shirt, man.
With sleeves and all, usually a tank top.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, my guy, who are you?
I'm DJ. I'm a methaholic.
Methaholic. Hey, welcome to the show. Who are you?
Hey, what's going on? My name's Ryan.
Ryan, get right up on them mics, boys. Who are you?
I'm Nicole.
Nicole.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
You put them on your anywhere. You put them in your ears, put them on your hips, whatever. What is that show? What's that? Talladega Nights. Is that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start with you. How'd you hear about We'll Work for Recovery?
I was brought here by my friend Angela Lachey. What's up? Shout outs. Yeah, she just said, you want to go to a meeting, and I was going to celebrate recovery before here, and it wasn't, there's no bad meetings, but
Right.
it wasn't like this.
So let me ask you this: was there any forewarning about what the place was? Like,
Not at all. Not at all.
all right. So now the better
So much
question:
at one time.
what was it when you walked in? What was?
God damn. I was like, wow. every generation's childhood and adolescence and teenage years with all the, angst and rambunctiousness just threw up in here, man. It's like Where's Waldo had a fight with an I Spy book, and they both just came to terms on their differences and just did a collab.
Now with you explaining it like that, what would you tell a stranger about this place? Not giving it to them the way it was given to you, but to break it down to someone, how would you, if you're like, come check this out and tell us why, like, they're like, why? What do you say?
I would say, hey, do you ever wonder, like, what do ex-addicts do with all the stuff that they collected over the years? Tweaking? Like, do you ever wonder where that stuff goes? You want to go to a meeting?
That's not far off, though.
It's really not.
No. Someone came in a few weeks ago on the air, and I don't want to misquote him, but it was something to the effect of, like, it's like going to a bar with all that shit on the wall, or like not Applebee's, but like a Fuddruckers, where they have all this miscellaneous shit on the walls and just it's super busy.
Yeah.
Without the drugs.
It's like the bloopers for the shit that didn't make it on the Antiques Roadshow.
Hey, now, don't knock Mr.
Stuff
Bill.
didn't sell. Nah, see, that's what I'm talking about. I wish we could pan around. We got
Well, in this room, we got a guy, the French brothers are going to come in and do a big mural on the wall. They did like some Blues Brothers stuff in the small area. Like, we got some artists coming in. We're going to keep filling this room up. It's going to look just like over there. I like that. Like, where's Waldo? I like that.
A robot that's giving up on life. I hope not. I hope that's not what that is.
It does look like it,
Yeah,
though,
I hope he's not doing one of two things.
Yeah, his hand looks like it could be the second one.
Yeah.
You know what? You can see it in here, too. Oh, okay. So, how have you, what was your name again, and how did you hear about Will Work for Recovery?
My name's Nicole, and I heard about Will Work when I was an inpatient at New Way 3. I was new to the meeting thing, and someone was like, hey, you want to try something different?
Oh, wow.
It's a different ambiance, and, sometimes the different surroundings can do something, and
Different AF.
As fuck. So, like, that's where I heard about. I was at New Way, the Pillsbury House, over off Nicollet, and I just saw one of the pamphlets on the wall with Paul and Karen. One of these pamphlets that we have here, some of them, and it was the same thing. They told me kind of the same thing. It was like it's busy. I can't explain it. You got to go see it for yourself. It was one of those type of situations. So, what was it like when you got here? What was going through your head?
it's a lot like DJ's saying. It was like, it's a lot to take in. You're sitting there just
Get right up on that mic.
So much different stimulation going on in the room, and just the people were so kind and greeting, and you didn't feel judged, and just to sit there. And the first meeting I sat down, I brought a lot back with me, and it made me think. I used to say try anything once, twice if I like it, and I keep coming back. So.
Oh, wow. Makes me think of something when I think Kendra, or maybe she said something, but you just did too. We go to this 5 o'clock men's meeting. I can't speak for the women's one, but we get judged in there. Like, it's called crosstalk at 5 o'clock, and what it is basically not. I mean, I want to tell you I don't judge people, but I do. Deep down in my head, I'm going to judge someone. I just do. It's a human nature for me.
We all do.
And
It's a reflex.
And that's honestly this 5 o'clock meeting I go to. That's what's kind of saved me. It's someone being in my business, but it's a specific meeting like that. The normal, the big meetings, it's not happening like that. But the morning 7 o'clock, 6:30 meeting, that's like a real structured AA meeting. Like, we have that going on here. So, like, it's a whole facet of things. I like how you said it's like, where's the Waldo spot? I love it. Who are you? Get up on the mic.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Ryan. You know what? I like the way you said, in that meeting that someone's getting in my business.
Right.
And
Pull your chair up. Pull your chair up because the mic won't come to you really that good. But yeah, so you said.
but that's what brought me to that meeting this Wednesday is, what? I need somebody in my business. Is good, bad, whatever. I need somebody in my business, and I need somebody that I could, whether it's I need a group, I need an individual, I need, a few different aspects of people in my business to stay healthy. And
Right.
And that's where I came to just kind of try to, I've been getting honest with myself, but I needed to get honest with the group and with someone.
Yeah, you kind of held yourself big time accountable to something right before the end of the last meeting. That's not for me to air out, but like that's something we do in there, and like.
You know what it is, and I'm just gonna put it out there.
Go ahead.
And this is Minnesota. Marijuana just got legalized, and I am a medical marijuana cannabis user. You know what? Forget like the term medical. I smoke weed.
Yeah.
And
You blow trees.
And you know what's it's an issue.
Blow the gun.
It's an issue, and it is for myself, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Okay.
And, I've been on that program for a while, and it has helped me. But you know what? I've been in these rooms enough to have seen the Suboxones and the methadones, and to have roommates that literally cannot stay awake. And you know what? You're off a main drug, but you're still in under the influence of something. And you know what? You might be getting healthy. And this is I'm not judging anybody.
No, every
else.
situation is valid to their own situation.
Yeah, but for myself, I'm getting to the point where you know what, I'm too medicated, and it is addictive, and I'm scared.
Right. And you held yourself accountable to a situation of saying, like, look, guys, I want to stop doing this, and I'm putting a date on when I want to, whatever. Like, that's something we utilize that 5 o'clock meeting for. Stuff like that.
So
Yeah,
are you saying that you prefer to smoke weed over like Suboxones and all that other
No,
stuff?
I'll go ahead.
No, I was making like a reference, I'm meth and weed have kind of been my drugs of choice. Like I haven't gotten into heroin or anything like that, and those are medications that they use to taper off, like their main drug. I don't know too much about it,
Yeah,
but
you're right.
for myself, getting on the medical marijuana program, I almost put myself in a category as being highly medicated, like someone who would be on methadone or Suboxone. And again, I've never taken those, but it's a drug, man, at the end of the day. And, as much as I want to say that I use, I use it appropriately as far as, like where I purchase it and from. But I'm finding myself not being able to make it through the majority of my day without smoking. I'm smoking at inappropriate times, and maybe
Addict shit.
Addict shit, it for real is.
I'm gonna cut in here.
I'm isolating
yeah,
myself,
no, and this
that's
is what I want to say. Like, even
Yeah.
to your question about that, it's like I want to make something clear on, like, just with this show. Just like when Paul says, like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Like, he's not assuming anything on what your life looks like. He's talking about him. I know people do come on here and make group assumptions or non-I statement assumptions, but like Suboxone could be saving someone's life, and weed might be helping someone get through some shit the way it's meant for. But that's each to their own. Every person's their own situation. So like I know when it comes to Ryan sharing about his situation, that's what's gonna work for you. Like that's the choices you've made, and you have a place like Will Work. You can come and hold yourself accountable to that shit. I think like that's a big that's a big part of this to shine a light on. Is like this is your story. Like what you're saying. If this doesn't apply to you, if you're listening, like let it fly. Like if it does apply, like use it. What's been some of the biggest hurdles in your recovery? How long have you been in recovery?
Some good, like almost like about a half a year now.
It looks like a glow in the dark
No,
on your
yeah,
neck.
yeah. I've been sober for a year,
Okay,
but
all
I've been in recovery for half a year.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah.
So then, what's been like some of the biggest hurdles for you, and have you been able to overcome them?
As far as what? It always
Just hurdles,
I
like
know.
for you staying clean. Like what's been some of the hardest things, like old places or whatever.
See, that's the thing, because all this is Minnesota is at this point is just home for me. I grew up here, but I moved out to Georgia in 07, 08. And like those, yeah, if I was there, I would definitely have hurdles. The only hurdles that I have is just stuff that I could keep pushing.
Yourself?
It's just me. It's just and
Right.
other things I can just keep pushing past. Like I'm usually with somebody else in recovery. I mean, I have no worries when I'm by myself, but I'm usually with someone that's in recovery with me, that when I'm going past something that might be like a trigger for me or something. But all of my places would be Georgia or Las Vegas.
Vegas.
But
Woo.
yeah, but I wanted to say real quick about
Yeah, come on.
the Suboxone thing and all this. I'm not knocking anybody. If whoever that's really helping Suboxones and all this stuff, anybody, anything of the variation of it, I'm not knocking it, but I'm like, damn, like you I've seen people who need withdrawals from the stuff that's helping them with withdrawals, and then they want to, and then there's people who I've seen in meetings who, take Suboxone and then want to like dish on somebody who is like smoking weed, and they don't like before even they're completely judging and not even realizing that they got those three fingers pointing back at them, saying that stuff. And I'm not knocking their stuff, but I'm like, hey, I would much prefer if a doctor was like, hey, you need to smoke this weed before to get off of this heroin, rather than Suboxone. If I needed Suboxone to get off of meth, I would have went for any other option, because that stuff is just as serious.
Yep. And I like how you're phrasing it. You're carefully phrasing a lot of that. And you know what? You're right. If you're on Suboxone long term, you're going to deal with withdrawals. Especially if you cold turkey, it's the same as heroin withdrawals. The same, if not worse, from what I've heard. Either way, like, we used to go to this Thursday night meeting at Fairview Riverside called Opiate Support. This guy Max ran it. The way we opened the meeting was like we did the Serenity Prayer, and right away, the two things we're not going to talk about is if you're clean on Suboxone and about some other shit. But like, what I get from that is I can't worry about your recovery. I can't worry about your shit. Like, if this is how it looks for you, the second I find myself engaged in your recovery, I got a problem with me. Like you said, I got three looking back at me. And being that this is a show and we're talking about topics, that's a little different. But I've done that in early recovery. I used to, at New Way, I'd see someone nodding out next to me. Well, they're on their methadone or something, and I'd get real affected. I'd feel a certain way, and over time I realized, like, that's on me, not them. That's I'm not responsible for the way you feel about me. I need to mind my business when you're talking about me. It's that easy. And I'm glad someone's talking about me. It means I'm special.
Yeah.
So, how have you dealt with hurdles in your recovery? I say hurdles, but like issues, problems that come up in recovery. How do you get through them and get over them and through them?
The corny advice of throwing myself in the middle of the herd.
What does that mean?
Putting myself in the recovery, seeing community, utilizing my peers, resources. Just, like I deal with a lot of codependency issues, and therefore, when it's not there, I'm feeling down or alone, I want to isolate, and that's when I start wanting to use again. And then I'm almost at my 6-month mark now, so.
There's
You hear the audience? You hear the audience? That's audience.
we were looking for that last time.
Oh, yeah. So, being that the show is called Attitude for Gratitude, before I move someone on and be like, all right, go grab him in the corner, what are you grateful for today in your recovery and in life?
I'm grateful for second chances.
Anything else? It's your time to shine. I guess I should say it this way. Is there anything you want to add, bring up, or talk about? And then what are you grateful for?
Wait, I want to break down for her when she says in the middle of the herd. You got to think of like elephants. When they have the youngest or the weakest or whatever, they make sure they stay in the middle of the pack.
That's a good way of breaking it down.
For everybody around it to support it and help it out. So.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Protects
you, DJ.
you.
I am not.
Is that exactly how you meant it?
Yes, I am not. I am not good with words at all.
You're not a wordsmith?
I am not.
Honestly, I haven't heard it that way. I forget I'm on camera. I can't give people the finger in the audience no more. I never thought of it that way, but that's a great way of breaking it down too. Like, we protect the weak, we protect the ones struggling, and we get in the middle of that herd. So second chances. Anything else you're grateful for?
Weed.
It's corny. Well, yeah, it's corny, but DJ heard me once say that I'm grateful for the moon for showing me you don't have to behold to shine.
I know.
That's
I forgot
tough.
about that shit. Yeah.
You want to go grab one of that redhead girl or Dustin in the corner and get him up here?
Sure do.
All right. Anything else you want to bring up, talk about, and then what's your gratitude look like today?
I gotta leave.
No, you don't got to leave,
No.
but you're gonna get. You don't got to leave, but you got to get the hell out of that seat. No, we just once I get everyone in the room, then I start cycling back through. But I got those two that haven't been on yet. So what I want to hear from you is what's your gratitude look like today?
My gratitude is looking immense and endless.
Oh wait, say that again.
It's looking immense and endless.
Okay.
I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to realize the things that you don't really realize you've taken for granted. Like, I treat every day like one time I got high on pot. And
Did you say on pot?
On pot.
On pot. Marijuana.
Yeah. On marrow weed.
Weed.
And I was about to get on a plane, and I looked up, and I was like, man, this could be the day that my plane goes down. And I just started thinking about everything. Like, I'm grateful that I can lift my foot. Grateful that I can look up at the sky and think about this plane possibly crashing. And like, so I just try to remember, like, you don't realize what you take for granted. And I'm just grateful for
Here's a
everything
quick
that I
monkey wrench for what you said. Do you think if you weren't blowed out, you would have had them thoughts? Because you went deep on this. You know what I'm asking?
Yeah. That's see, it probably wouldn't have been as deep.
My head fights with me on shit like that. It does.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I would have never came up with this thought process. I would have never dug this deep in my. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then my head's like, well, then I should probably blow a little here and there.
In that moment, I would say definitely. But now that I've had a year without any kind of substances,
That's it.
I've realized that I think like that on my own. But I would like to see how much deeper it could go. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. Thank you for coming on. Please, you guys don't go far. I'm gonna just cycle through Dustin. Once he's out the phone, he's taking your spot.
All right.
Ryan.
I'm gonna try to be here every Friday.
Ryan. All right, I'm gonna hold you to it. I usually that's the last thing I'd ask someone is like, can I ask you on air? Like, will you come back on?
I'm gonna keep coming back.
All right. So Ryan.
Yo.
Ryan. Your story doesn't sound like one of these ones that, I walked in the doors and I've been clean ever since.
It's not.
It doesn't. How do you deal? Here's a hard question for you. Maybe not for you. How do you deal with repercussions of your actions in use once you're clean? You know what I'm asking. Like, we go out there, we get into psychosis, whatever the case may be, and we do some shit we feel bad about, and then we come back to face it. How do you deal with those interactions? Like, how do you face them?
You know what? They're actually very hard, and that's
Good.
That's something that I got a sponsor now, and that's something I'm going to be going through with my sponsor. That's something that the 5 o'clock men's meetings for, and that's something to actually look forward to maybe getting off of medical marijuana, so
Right.
I can actually really internalize what that's like, and to be honest. In a way, that's what's triggered me wanting to get off that. And
Oh, really?
Because at the end of the day, it keeps me away from 100% being a part of the group. I'm still using in a way, and it's in my heart and my soul. To me, when I look myself in the mirror, I can look myself in the eyes and say, hey, you know what you're doing is actually not okay. You need to figure something out, and you need to be scared of it. And I am, and I'm just at the beginning of addressing that issue. I'm just at the very beginning, and not the beginning of trying to stay sober, but when you're talking about what people are grateful for. I'm grateful that.
Oh, wait. You're about to. All right, so.
I just wanted to say I'm just grateful that I want to get better.
No, that's what I was gonna say, because I'm gonna have you hand the mic to one of these girls that just walked in. But what does your gratitude look like today?
Just grateful that I get up every time I fall. I'm grateful for my ambition and just life in general.
So also, last thing is, can I count on you showing back up for the show?
What, this evening?
No, yeah, sure, to this evening, but moving forward. future Fridays.
Oh, you know what? Absolutely. I'm making a commitment to myself, to my sponsor, to Will Work for Recovery. This is my home group, and I've been through a lot with a lot of people in these rooms, and I've put a lot of people through a lot in these rooms, and I'm just ready to do the damn thing.
Ryan, I appreciate you. I appreciate you getting outside yourself and coming on the show. Go grab your chair. Don't go home, but you got to get out the seat. Grab either grab Jen or my girl right here. You go. Your batter's up. So,
Well, hi.
who are you?
I'm Jennifer.
Jennifer, welcome to the podcast. Young man, who are you? Chippy,
My name's Dustin. I'm a drug addict.
welcome to the show. Young lady, who are you?
My name is Sean.
Welcome to the show, Sean. So, how did you hear about Will Work for Recovery?
I've been coming to Will Work for Recovery for years.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. All right, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, that was me. I muted the whole time. All right, you guys got to get introduced, but you're good. So, uncomfortably get close to those mics, and how you've been coming here for a long time. How did you find the place? Do you remember?
Super Dave.
Super Dave Raspy Throat.
Yep. Super Dave. I met him at a meeting, and when I very first got sober, and he stayed in contact with me.
Really?
He just kept sending me text messages, and then he kept saying, "Are you going to meetings? Are you going to meetings?" And then he's like, "Come to Will Work," and I'm like, "What's that?" And I came in here, and I sat in the corner of a couch and wouldn't look at anybody, wouldn't talk to anybody for the longest time.
Shy girl. How long? How long did it take for you to get? Wait, no. Before you even get to that, what did you think when you walked in here? Because we all know this isn't like conventional. Like it's not what you're used to seeing. What was it like when you walked in?
I was like, "This is different."
Good or
It's
bad? Different? Like
Good.
felt comfortable?
Yeah. Well, as comfortable as I could be as I sat in the corner of the couch and tried to sink into it. And yeah.
How did you get outside yourself? How did you get outside yourself?
Coming to Will Work, you mean?
Yeah, like
while
once
I was here?
you're diving into the corner trying to hide yourself. How did you break out of that shell here at Will Work?
Gosh. Several people that I met at other meetings too that I just started talking to.
And just kind of
it
networking and-
Yeah.
I know Paul comes on and he's a big advocate of saying like everyone has a voice, everyone's voice is valid. Today we're gonna go around and say one word, and like he'll tell stories how he's one week someone's like bacon, the next week they're like bacon and eggs, then the next week they're like I went and had bacon and eggs over here, like
Yep.
it's a continuing thing. And is that kind of how like I see you come in now like multiple people know who you are, like you have a huge. I was about to say following. You have a huge network now, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, there's never a time you'll walk into a Will Work meeting and not know someone.
No.
And that's just what continually. Like, why is that?
That's just continuing to come back. I stepped away for a while, and some big stuff was going on in my life, and I was kind of like a homing pigeon. I was like, where can I go?
I gotta
and I
get
was
back
like,
home.
I know I can get there, and I know that those people are going to still be there, and I know I can do that. So
Yeah, I think that's really huge about Will Work. I'll wait on that one. How did you hear about Will Work? What's your name again, and how have you heard about Will Work for Recovery?
My name is Sean, and I heard about Will Work through my outpatient treatment facility, New Way.
No way. Was it like
and
go
the
ahead.
girls in my sober house.
They were talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, how was that? Like, I try to emulate this. We have a lot of people that listen that have never been here. I have listeners from 2218 still that just. This started during COVID. A lot of people never left the house. Not saying this is all they do for recovery, but there's still a lot of listeners that only listen to this. They don't go out to in-person meetings anymore. So, like, when you walked into this place, what was that like?
It was a breath of fresh air for me. And when I first got into recovery, I was like, hell no, I am not doing some 12-step bullshit. Sorry.
You're good. You better not fucking swear on here.
Okay, I'll fucking swear all I want then. So that was my first take on life, a sober person. And then I was in desperation of needing to be around people like me, and I went to an NA meeting living in Eau Claire, Wisconsin with my parents. Yeah. And then I luckily got back into Minneapolis, and when I walked in, it was just so nice to see so many people of all the peoples.
Right.
The she's, they, them.
Well, and
she's,
that's what my man
all
was
the
saying. He
peoples.
said just every family, like brothers, cousins, nephews, sons,
Yes.
daughters, dads, uncles, everything was. And is that what made you feel comfortable here?
The people.
Just the array of different everything.
just everyone had a smile on their face. I really love, like, honestly, the aesthetic of this place.
So, someone comes up to you in the street and they're like, "God, I heard about this Will Work for Recovery place. What is it like?" How would you explain this to someone?
I say that it is. Well, I hope I'm not wrong on this.
This is your call. Like,
Please
you can't be
correct
wrong
me.
on
I
it.
said
No.
I feel like the people that facilitate this space are very educated in the 12-step programs, whatever, NAAA. But it is not exclusive to that only. It is a place for anyone who's seeking recovery to find shelter. Not shelter to live in, but
No,
like
yeah, but to come here and find their
like a
recovery.
safe place to call home and to find people
A safe place.
that will welcome them
No, that's
without having to commit to some 12 steps, because that's scary. It's real scary. And those of us in addiction and recovery, I feel like we buck anything like 12 steps, any sort of program, anything that tells us to go to church or God, which obviously that's not what it's about, but you don't know that till you
right.
jump in and immerse yourself.
I thought there was a paid employee that ran meetings when I first came to these
Right?
rooms. I did. I thought that guy at the table was the boss and he gets paid. I just
Yeah.
did. It is what it is. And when I ask you, like, you're not wrong. It's how whatever your answer, that's yours. Like, you own that. Don't worry.
I just don't want to misrepresent the space.
No,
in any
you're
way.
fine. People that listen hear enough from others that just you get the vibe. Kind of. We're getting there with the vibe, but. So, what have been some big hurdles for you in recovery?
Well, the first one was just accepting my new life. And I had to give up my apartment and time with my son and face the fact that I needed to surrender to my addiction. That was my first hurdle. My second hurdle, no money. That's been a really, I gave up a 29-year career of being a self-employed hairstylist. And in all honesty, it's magic because
Really?
I don't want to go back to that.
Find something
2
different.
years ago, I fell and broke my shoulder, and like I was devastated because it's all I knew.
Right.
And it's really forced me to find a new way to do things. And I just gotta say, I got this really amazing opportunity to potentially work. And I hope I'm not triggering anyone, but in a bottle shop.
Oh,
That the woman who owns it is in recovery herself, and she's really excited to have an employee who's also in recovery.
Don't worry about other people's stuff. Don't,
Okay.
Like, you're doing you. You can if you want. That's on you. But like someone had to tell me that because I was always backpedaling on stuff, worrying about I don't want to hurt their feelings or their feelings. Like I was just sharing. Like, I'm not responsible for the way you think about me.
Right, right. I just want to represent the recovery community really well, as best I can, because
Living amends.
It's really an amazing place to be. And so, anyways, after giving up everything and walking away from my life, then to go to inpatient treatment and then outpatient treatment, and now I feel like the blessings are coming, like all this.
The promises type stuff.
Yes, like it's all coming to me, and it's really amazing. It's scary as hell. That's what I said in my share today. Like, I'm scared to death, but I'm also really fucking grateful for it. And
No, that's
I'm
huge.
really like so accepting. I get to work this dream job in this space, and I also get to do hair 2 days a week there. And I love the girls in my sober house, but when I have the money, I'm really ready to branch out.
You ready to move on?
Not really. Like, potentially, like, if I could do both, I would. Like, if I could have a little tree house for my son and I and then go back to the sober house, I would. Like, they've been really supportive and amazing. But,
No,
you know,
that's good.
that's how I feel today. Who
that's-
knows in another month? I might
Yep.
be done with those bitches.
But you get the freedom of choice and the freedom to change them things. Don't go nowhere.
Okay.
Young man, who are you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. The only young man on the show.
My name is Dustin. I'm a drug addict.
Well, welcome back to the show, young Dustin. How's your day going? How's your recovery going? Talk to us a little bit about that. How's your life going today in recovery?
My life's going good.
11,500.
My life isn't going that well.
Yeah. No, you say it's going good. Dustin, you've been at this for multiple years, and you've got, like, a decent amount of continuous, good clean time under your belt right now. A question I have for you is, how have you made it? I always hear people say at this time it's, but you know what? In your case, that is what it is. Like this time, what is it that this time seems like not any of the other times for you?
I didn't have any other options. I like numbers. I know you can only roll the dice so many times before you snake out. You know what I mean? And for 20 plus years, I'd been rolling the dice. You know what I mean? And I've done the jails institution, and I've gotten really close to death, though. So I figured it was only a matter of time. So, but I also had 100 examples of what not to do, right? So that's why, like, when I come in here and I tell these guys, like, I'll say stuff in meetings or talking to guys one-on-one, and then they'll ask me about it a couple days later, and I'll be like, I don't really know what you're talking about, because I
Shoot from the hip as it goes.
I talk from my heart, and I let you know what's going on in the moment, and I just try to be as real as possible with you, because I don't know where I'm meeting you. Like, I don't know if I'm meeting you and this is your first go around, or if this is your 50th go around. I don't know. And we all know men and women that have walked into these rooms that are now dead. They're in jail, prison. They're still out in the streets. So I don't know where I'm meeting you. And so kind of what I've been doing is I meet guys, here's what's going on. If they ask me for my number or whatever, I'll give it to them. I'll give them 3 days. I'll text them every day for 3 days. After day 3,
Balls in their court.
Look, man, I don't know about you, but I never woke up with $500 in my pocket and forgot to call the plug. I don't know how you lived your life.
We just had this conversation on the phone, didn't we?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah, we did, and that's basically what it was. And I kind of want to elaborate on that, about the drive to doing recovery versus the running and gunning life. Yeah, Maddie's very proud of you. Very proud of you. The difference, that drive, I guess, call it what you will, but I know we were on the phone talking about that a few mornings ago, and it was that. It was like there was never an issue that when I had a pocket full of money that I just forgot to call the dope man, versus I forgot to hit up a meeting, or I forgot to go follow through on this commitment, or whatever, responsibilities.
Well, here's how I break it down, right? And for me, I committed a felony every single day when I was using, at multiple. And look, I'm not saying that you use the way that I did, but I just know me, so I'm just going to
talk about you. Yeah.
Right. And here's the deal. I was willing to commit a felony every day, multiple ones, day in and day out.
Prison-worthy felonies.
Yeah. I have no ID number tattooed right there. You know what I mean? And so I was willing to risk and give up everything. My marriage, careers, my kids, my freedom, my life. I was willing to give everything to get high. And so nothing drives me more nuts than when a guy walks into this room and says, I got trust issues. Well, you didn't trust the dude you're buying dope from. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't feel shut up.
No, this is the package I wanted to open.
Right.
That's what you're talking about right now.
And there's, shout out to Jack if he's listening, but I used to tell Jack all the time, if there was an 8-ball, would you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. What are we talking about? If I said, hey, if you get through these 12 steps, I'll give you an ounce of meth, they'd be done in
same day.
They'd be done the same day. And
an hour.
And if I said, hey, there's an 8-ball of meth, but you got to go find, you guys got to go find 5 positive, go get 5 women's numbers. Okay? You'd have 5 women's numbers within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So to walk in these rooms and all of a sudden now you're.
Yeah, the trust issue thing, or the nervous.
Yeah, it's like you're not afraid to lose your kids, your family, your everything, but all of a sudden, I had to come in here with that same energy. You know what I mean? And if you want what I have, I can tell you how I got it, but I can't do it for you.
Yeah, if you want what I have, do what I did. That was one of those sayings. You know what? They got one of the old farts, or the elder statement at the New Hope Alano Thursday night men's meeting I go to. He broke it down one night, and he was like, you know what? I don't know why, because a new guy came in talking about he was kind of embarrassed or ashamed to pull into an Alano club, or because everyone's going to see I'm going to AA. He's like, you know how many times I was in handcuffs? I didn't give a shit if someone saw me, or I'm going into the police car. Like, your fear is to have someone see you going into an Al-Anon, and you weren't nervous one bit about getting linked up by cops or talking about a court date, or the difference is there. I don't know what that is. Just like you said, like trust issues when you're buying dope from some stranger and slamming in your arm, not sure what's even in the bag. Like, where does that come from? What is that? Just human nature? Or?
I just think it's, I think that a lot of us, somebody said it tonight in the meeting, and they said that they're afraid to get everything they ever wanted, right? And I literally, I sat in prison, and I'm sure a lot of guys do, and they sit there and they think about all the things they want to do and they're going to do, and they think about, hey, when I get out, I'm going to get this business and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do, and then reality hits you and you walk out of the door and you got, if you're lucky, you walk out with $500, and $500 fills your gas tank a couple times. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And then
right.
it's like, then you have to, and everybody wants to go from junkie to CEO, and everybody, and it's like, you have to do it brick by brick, right? And I don't know what anybody else's story is. I looked at New Way, and I looked around, and I seen where other people were failing, right? And I see where I had failed before, because I'd been kicked out of New Way 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I just remember being like, oh, I'm in New Way. They're paying my rent. I might never. What other 28-year-old guy or 30 or whatever time I was in there gets 6 months of free rent? So I was like, okay, the day that I get out of here, I'm going to need money. I'm going to need to do something. And so when everybody was going out and playing grab ass and going to the lake and doing this and blah, 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 I had a full-time job. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't trying to ever come back. And the harsh reality of it is, in the 30 days I was in Fairview and the 6 months I was at New Way, there's probably 35 people that I know that are dead now.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was at one New Way location, and I did morning track. I didn't know afternoon track. I didn't know St. Paul. I didn't know Northeast Minneapolis. Just the people that I know.
Yeah, you're back to the odds game, the numbers game. Like,
the number,
they're not in your favor.
They're not in. And here's the other problem is, I loved doing meth and I love doing heroin. Guess what? The meth sucks. It's not meth anymore, and all these kids are doing is fentanyl.
This
so
Fetty Wap.
And I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I want to get high. I'm not trying to die.
Right.
So it just.
I want to touch on one thing real quick, and then I got to get back to you gals. Is the 1 degree a day?
Yeah.
Like I think of that when you're talking about, a brick at a time. Like, you can't just jump from here to there. Like, I wanted to, my head wanted to, but I think that 1 degree a day really breaks it down too. Like, explain that method or that thought process.
So every time I try to get sober, right, I wanted to do 360, 180, whatever, and I wanted to do it today. I'd walk in with no car, no job, no nothing, no communication with my kids' moms, whatever. And I just, hey, I'm sober. Today's day 1. Give me everything back. And I just realized, like, that's not how it works. The same way, like, I've never went from sober to relapsing in one move. It's always like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I just told myself, if I could just get 1 degree better every day, 1% every day, if I was lucky enough to stay sober for a year, I've made moves. And so what I would do is, when I started at Fairview, and I started with simple, small goals. I don't have clothes. I don't have shoes. I didn't have an ID. I didn't have anything, right? So it was like, can I get some information about where I can get some clothes? And honestly, if you're serious and you're really trying to do something, people are willing to help. Like, I went to a place where they give out vouchers for clothes or boots or shoes and stuff. And I walked up to the guy and I said, hey, man, I said, I don't really need tennis shoes. I said, I need a pair of work boots. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he goes, for what? And I go, because if I don't ever want to be in this line again, I got to get a job. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And the guy like waited and he said, just wait there. And after everybody went through the line, the guy came back, gave me a pair of tennis shoes, a pair of work boots, like a knockoff Carhartt jacket, gloves, and a lunchbox.
Hell yeah.
And then right then and there, and I just came to the point where no is for everybody else. You're not going to hire me because I'm a felon. I'm going to go find a better job. I'm not going to settle for mediocre because I've made bad decisions in the past.
Right.
Like Paul talks about it, ABCs, any job, better job, career. And that's what I did. The day I walked out in New Way inpatient, the day I started New Way outpatient, I started a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I started at the bottom, and over the years, I've just worked up. I started with a $500 car, and I just worked my way up. Now I got
a nicer car.
a $550 car.
A month. Dustin,
I wish.
you know what? Talk to me about your gratitude, and then you're giving your seat over to Kendra or Kenzie.
Or Kyle.
He's here for support, apparently.
No, Kyle's up. And I just want to publicly apologize to my best buddy, Kyle. You know, I always said I'm going to call you back, and I'm busy, and I don't mean to.
At least he calls you. Ooh,
I called Tim this morning. He didn't answer.
he's full of shit.
Bullshit.
But this
Right.
is your gratitude?
No, my gratitude is the relationships that I have built through this program and the people that I've met through this program, because my whole life has always been transactional relationships, right? And I didn't understand non-transactional relationships. Like, I had something you wanted, or I was trying to prove that I was good enough or whatever. You know, like when you're talking and someone's staring at their phone, you know.
I'm confirming I have no missed calls from Dustin today.
Get out of here.
I can put it right here on the screen, too. Got him.
But yeah, and so the fact that now today, like, I have friends that actually get mad that I don't call them back, and it's
Right.
not because they're trying to get high, you know. Just being able to show up as much as I can, you know what I mean, and whatever that looks like, you know. Never in a million years, 6 years ago, did my kids' moms think that I was going to be someone that they could depend on, let alone ask for help. And
leave their kids with you. Like, you're a good dad today.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm all right.
I will say you are. I've been there, seen it. Dustin, I love you. Thank you for coming on and sparing some wealth. If you don't go far, I have a feeling you'll be back on. Your turn to pipe up, Miss Quiet and hiding in the corner. So, oh, nice. Here we go. I usually don't get into this because we can't ever kind of dig deeper, but tonight I think we can. Do you have a higher power? And if so, how does that look like in your recovery today?
Well, my higher power is Jesus Christ.
Okay. How does that look like in your recovery? How do you utilize your higher power in your recovery?
Daily contact with the Jesus. I actually just left church
Okay.
before I got here tonight. I was at a church service for an hour and a half or so before I stopped by here on my way home. I start my mornings with devotionals. Oh, right
Sorry.
here?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So
I'll get better mics.
Get better mics.
You start your day with devotionals?
With the daily devotionals. And I dig deep in that, and I spend some time in my showers praying to God and asking Him to kick my day off the right way, use me as a vessel. My days at work are spent very much in my head. I'm a massage therapist, so I'm very quiet.
You are?
I am.
Good enough?
I am.
Good enough.
So I'm very quiet and just in my head. So I'm talking to God all day. Trying to battle this nugget up here, trying to get it under control. That's how I battle it.
It reminds me of one of these other guys I ride with. He's like, you got to ignore the asshole between the ears.
Right.
Because not always out for your best interest. So you do have a strong faith, and that helps with your recovery. For you to have that in your recovery, that's something that do you feel you need that in order to be successful in your recovery today?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I tried to get sober before, and I didn't have a faith before my recovery at all.
What's your suggestion to someone who's on the fence about not entering into a relationship with a higher power, but finding a higher power and they're on the fence?
Oh,
What would be your advice to them?
get off the fence. Gosh, advice how to find their higher power?
I'm not
Or-
sure if I need a higher power. Just
Well, Solid, you've been running your own show working. I mean, clearly it's worth a shot, right? I mean, it's worth a shot to have a conversation with Christ. That's because that's my higher power. That's who I have my conversations
Right.
with. And to really, really see what it's like to truly surrender it. I mean, I don't have a roadmap of how to show somebody how to do it.
No, I'm not.
that's
Just
for sure.
this is pipe into questions.
But without it, I was going to stay insane.
So that's your rock. That's your serene place, is having your higher power.
Oh, 100%.
No, that's huge. And a lot of people, I used to for 2 years ask that question to every guest, and we get into big conversation. But like, out of everyone I ever asked, no one's ever really made it as clear as you. Like, this is my life. My spirituality is my life.
Well, yeah. When I got into recovery, my last few years of my use, I lost my ever-loving mind. I mean, I was a meth addict that had been for a lot of years, way too many years. Alcoholic, meth addict. It was crazy. But I had lost my mind. I was wrapped up in the mental health system, and
That's a tricky one.
I couldn't find any way out of it. Like, I was trying everything I could do on my own volition to get my sanity back, and until I walked into a church and God wrapped me up. I mean, literally just wrapped me up, and I gave my life to Christ, and then it was just wild how things just shifted in my life. And
Yeah, those are like, have you had a spiritual experience? And so what does that look like? A spiritual awakening? Like, there's a lot
Yeah.
that I'm used to going 2 hours with guests, and this is new, just popping through. Like, the goal is to do 5 to 10 minutes a person, but like tonight we have 10 people that showed up, so it's like, I know I can go a little longer. I just want to get a variety of different stuff in. So with that, hold tight. Young man, who are you?
My name's Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle, for...
I'm a Virgo.
Yes, you are.
I'm an
I'm
addict.
a Virgo too.
Young Virgo. How did you hear about Will Work for Recovery?
I think it was at 2218, man. There was some people that were coming through there back when I was in New Way, House 1. And they...
When people say House 1, does that mean you were living at one of those apartments, like in one of their houses?
No, so
Or
the
treatment center
house,
one?
House 1 and House 2 are men's. They're like two separate inpatients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they, we don't need that. I'm sorry. Okay, so you're at New Way. Dude, I'm the worst of them all. So you're at New Way, and what was that? Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so we were going to 2218 because it was like a house behind it, So there was this guy that I was starting to kind of connect with there, and he was telling me about Will Work, and he's like, man, this place is different. You got to go there. Like, there's food, and there's like leather couches, man. It's like in my head, like I was like picturing it as this professional business type environment where there's leather couches and it's like a meeting area. I was like, dude, finally the place I want to be. Like, I'm tired of going to these church basements and sitting on these metal chairs and sitting around in a stale room that smells like a Perkins from 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And then I showed up to Will Work, and I was like, what? Okay, there's couches. There's a lot of other stuff going on, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's how I heard about Will Work, man. And my first time coming to Will Work, there was no food, but you know what? Not gonna lie, man. My intentions were like, I'm gonna go to this place that's got food. It's great, because there's food and there's leather couches, and it was back when it was on the other side. It was kind of a different environment over there.
Really? And there's no food? Because the other side is when Carolyn, was daily cooking.
Yeah, well, it was mid-COVID.
Oh,
I
so
think there was a lot less food, or
yeah.
you guys must have stopped doing food or whatever. So, but there was stuff all over the walls, and it reminded me of being a kid and hanging up T-shirts on the walls that I wear, and I'm like, oh dang, I want to wear that shirt. Like just a bunch of random stuff on the
So
walls.
I have a question for you because I know your background for the most part. Like you were a methamphetamine guy. Like people came in here and said like it's a busy place. Like for a guy with the head of, for your type of characteristics or who you are, how you are, were you comfortable walking into a place when it was this busy? Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You guys were talking about Addicts for Life earlier. So that was, I went to that meeting before I came to Will Work, and that was an experience for me, man. I remember the ambiance, the lighting. It was in Fairview Riverside. It was in a big conference room.
Were
And
we at the Kyle Rudolph Center?
what's that?
When you walked in, the one to the left. And
Yep,
the big
the one to the
okay,
left, you
all
go
right.
to the back. And
Not the Brennan Center. You came at, all right, whatever.
man, I just remember there being like upwards of 100,
Oh, yeah.
120 people there sometimes. And, it was different. There was a podium where everybody had to walk up and do readings. And a guy that I met at the time, he challenged me to do a reading. I had to go up and stand up in front of 100 people. And meth addict, I don't really want to be around people.
Right.
I don't want to talk in front of people because I can.
There's nowhere to hide in there.
Oh, dude, but yeah. So it was a challenge for me. So that really gave me this like confidence to be able to go into a place and like talk. Because I didn't have that before. Speaking in front of 120 people, it's
nerve-wracking.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. Man, Will Work for Recovery, it's different. That's for sure.
So you talk to someone on the street, some stranger. They're like I've said before. I'm not going to say on the fence because your answer is like tell them to get off the fence. Someone comes to you and says like I heard of Will Work for Recovery. How do you explain it to them?
How do I explain it?
How do you explain this place to someone that's never been, but they're looking for a meeting?
I don't know.
Is it another one of those church basement meetings? I'm sick of those.
No,
I heard about Will
no.
Work for Recovery. What's it like, Kyle?
It's comfortable.
That's like the word you use?
It's comfortable, yeah. I mean, for maybe people coming in and not being in a meeting with 60 people, they come in 5-10 minutes late and everybody's already there. It can be uncomfortable, but you get there early, man. You get a nice leather couch, you can kick your feet up, and that's what it's all about.
I think we have like 60 leather couches in there, and we have 5 in here in a sectional and recliners, but there's multiple other chairs too.
It's like one big family, man. Is what I mean by comfort, man. It really is. Over the last few years of coming here, I've been challenging myself to kind of get out of what my initial network was at the beginning, and making more connections with people, and trying to spend a little more time talking with them, not just saying hi, hello, you're loved, whatever. Trying to really get to know them on a personal level.
Do you think it's important to have a higher power in your recovery? If so, why?
Yes, it definitely is, and it can't be yourself. For me, I had no experience with Jesus. I had no experience with Christ. I was very anti that. And another meeting I go to, Serenity Village, really
Tuesday nights
really dug deep into me, man. Yeah, Tuesday nights at Serenity Village, that really dug deep into me. And there was one night where I felt so lost. And there's this saying the pastor always says, I'm grateful to be above ground and out of prison. And he says it every single time. Every single time. I'd probably been to that meeting, a couple hundred times. And there was just one time that I finally heard that, and it opened my mind up a little bit more. And then I started thinking like, well, I didn't just get here. I didn't survive for no reason. Like there's got to be a reason that I survived everything that I went through. There's this one night where they asked, has anybody not accepted Jesus Christ? And everybody's like, there's no one raised their hand. I'm like, not me, I got baptized. I got baptized a week later, and, I still don't necessarily know Jesus Christ, but I believe that there's a higher power and he's part of it, and I'm not here on my own doing, so,
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. No bad answers on this show. And anything else, like, I'm going to say this to anyone who ends up on the show, or you guys too. Like, if there's something that's working for you, feel free to talk about it. It's okay. That's what this show's about. Is the big thing I want people to understand is this show. It's like Paul always says, you have a voice. It's valid. Come on here and share your voice. Like, the way I do recovery, it might kill you, but the way Kyle does it, it might not. everyone has their own recovery and does it their way, and that's why I like to kind of explore. And I'm learning how to do it with only a couple minutes at a time. Do you have a higher power, and if so, what's that look like?
I definitely do have a higher power. I actually am really glad I have a chance to touch base on this.
Come on.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like every single one of us, every time we fucking used, put a line in our nose, shot up, took a shot, whatever, got in the car and drove, we prayed to some higher power that we didn't fucking die or that we didn't kill someone else, or like I prayed every time my kid wouldn't find me dead. And so we've already been praying as addicts, just not
That's
with
a great, yeah. No,
not with the right intention.
for someone that's like, I don't pray, you'd be like, you know what? Hang
Yes,
on.
you do.
Yeah. think
Don't
about
tell
that.
me you don't. We've all done it. I don't believe it. I mean, there might be some people that have lost hope and they don't. But for a lot of us, I believe that every time we use, we prayed that nothing terrible would happen,
Right.
or being raided or busted or who knows what, right? And so it's really just changing the way who you pray to and what you pray about. And so if you call it meditation, higher power, Spirit of Christ, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you pray to a blue man in the sky. It doesn't matter to me. There is something bigger than all of us. And if you do not give yourself to that, it will make this process 10 times harder and negative and dark.
Right. I agree. No, I agree with you. That was my first step, was just realizing that there's something bigger out there than me.
Yep.
Like that was, I was one that came in these rooms and said there won't be anything that gets in the way of my recovery. If you tell me I need to do this, this is what I'm going to try to do.
Yep.
And I see that's a big hurdle for a lot of people, doing things that they're not willing to do, but that's here nor there. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to talk about or bring up? Otherwise, I want to hear about your gratitude.
Not today, I don't think.
Good enough. What does your gratitude look like?
My gratitude looks like service back. And I don't mean necessarily service work in the walls of meetings, but like I try my best to help people out and to give them a ray of sunshine. I give homeless people hugs if they just look like they need it. I have girls in the house that need not constant, that sounded terrible, lots of support, just like we all do. And I try my very best to do that for them. And in return, when I need it, I can turn to them and ask them. And to me, that's an attitude of gratitude right there, is just doing what you can to help others. And I don't even mean financially, but like, I love to cook for the girls in my house. I help with rides. I help them get to meetings.
Show up.
Yeah.
You show up. You're there,
Yeah.
present. So the last thing I'm going to ask you is, will you be back on another Friday to come on the show?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
Grab the girl in brown and throw her in your seat. Thank you again for coming on and getting a little uncomfortable with being uncomfortable.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Back to you.
To me.
Back to you.
Back to me.
Super strong faith. You do now. Oh, that you can hear the clap. I'm listening to the show in my ear. And I got to stop doing that. That's really tricky to do here. An 8-second delay. Have you always been a massage therapist?
20 years.
20 years. Oh, for real. Do you work at a business?
I do.
And do it?
I do. I didn't do it in like the worst of my addiction. I mean, like clearly, and nobody wanted me.
Don't you
and like,
touch
and
me.
like, no. I mean, I have, yeah. So, but I graduated 20 years ago.
You know what? So then, I'm a knucklehead. I already asked you that. When it comes to work and recovery, like how does that balance look for you? How long have you been in recovery this time, or
3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yeah, it'll be 4 years in February.
February what?
26th.
26. Okay. How do you balance work and recovery? What's that like for you?
Well, for one, I'm just vocal. I walked into my where I work currently. That I've been there. It'll be 2 years in December that I've been in the same spot. But I walked in very vocal about that I'm in recovery.
Okay.
Because backroom conversations can really turn different, I knew walking into that if I didn't vocalize it right away that I was going to find myself up in my feelings.
Right.
While I'm listening to people talk about their drinks they had on the patio, their
Oh,
all
that's the
that
angle.
like, while I'm listening to all the conversations that happen from all the normies,
Right.
or not so normies. Well, I'm listening to the girl that's slinging dope at the whatever.
The ones that aren't
she's,
in
in
recovery.
her other world, and so I was just insanely vocal.
Was it
about
more of a reason to say like, hey, I don't want to hear about that shit. I don't want that shit around me, or more or less like, listen, I'm in recovery. There, you guys know. It's no secret.
No, it was like, so I'm in recovery, so now you know. That's
Okay,
it.
okay.
This is who I am. This is who I am. I'm not gonna. I think we all lived a facade for so long, right? Trying to work a job and knowing, I got my dope in my bag. I got that.
Right.
I'm setting up this. I'm doing that. But meanwhile we're like, and how may I help you? So I didn't want there to be those two sides of my world still, of me being in recovery and me going to meetings and doing that. So I just vocal.
I get that. No, I do. And like, I appreciate everything you came on and shared with us. Two things. One is, are you going to come back on my show, please?
I will, but I have one other thing to say.
No,
about,
good.
about
That
finding,
was
I've
it.
got
No,
one
come
other
on.
thing to say about the faith piece. This just hit me. I said this the other day in a meeting, and somebody giggled at me. I was like, I realized how it must sound. Jesus followed me through the dumpster in my addiction. Like, so I was a dumpster diver, and like big time. That was part of my addiction. And
Wait a sec. Wait. Like dumpsters? Like
dumpsters.
you
like,
went into garbage cans.
Yes, I did, and I got everything good out of them.
What was the little green dude on Sesame Street? He was in
The
garbage.
Grouch.
You're my, hey,
Yeah.
what's up, Grouch?
Yeah,
You're
that's
the new
right.
Grouch.
That's right. So, but Jesus followed me through the dumpsters. Like, if you go in my house now, like all of the Jesus things that are on my walls, like I have a cross, I have a cool like 3D picture of Jesus above my couch, and I've got the Lord's Supper in my dining room. They all came out of dumpsters.
Wow.
I mean, there was one night I opened up like a DVD case, and like one of the tracks, from church was folded up like an accordion in there, and it popped out at me. And I'm like, so Jesus followed me through the dumpster. That's part of
He's been your rock.
He was like, I'm right here. And I'm like, what else is in that dumpster?
At the time, you weren't appreciating it that
I
way.
wasn't, no.
So
not at
you were
all.
in there looking for a score, like whatever, money or just. Or,
It became part of my addiction.
I can't lie. I used to go to thrift stores and dig through pant pockets.
I turned it into
I scored though.
I turned it into a business. I was reselling things on eBay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like.
That's some addict shit. Dustin talks about this too. Like, come on, you can't say we're not resourceful people.
Right.
And the drive it takes to be an addict for longer than a month, you become very resourceful. Like, you can't apply that in these rooms. It has me scratching my head.
Right.
So, like, you brought that up. If there's anything else you'd like to share about, talk about, now's the time. Or I need you to go into your gratitude and tell us about what you're grateful for.
What I'm grateful for, I'll tell you that. So I'm grateful for, last night I had dinner with my son, and just the moments I get with my son today that would never have been, and what I can do for him now in his life is the mom I can be now on this side of it that's it. That's my gratitude right now, is my relationship with my son.
Here's a key question I always ask when, like, people talk about the gifts or the promises that come back to them and this and that. And I usually try to give them the answer somehow. But what's the reason you're able to be there for your son today and do all this stuff you're talking about?
What's the reason?
Yeah, why?
How can I?
Yeah.
Because I'm sober. Because I don't have 20 other plans in my back pocket of shit I'm going to do when everybody else turns their back. I'm present.
Right.
Today. I mean, unfortunately, my son had to watch me all of his whole life. My son's 23 years old. And I've been
He's seen the horrors of addiction.
He's seen the horrors of addiction up close and personal. I mean, like, and it, I was just at a church service where they were talking about generational curses. And generational curses are real. I mean, we talk about, what's in my family, because it's a generational curse. I mean, I'm unfortunately watched some of that play out, and I'm hoping that, things can get broken off.
And you know what, like people talk about like, alcoholism's in your genes. I don't agree with that whole in your genes, but the generational curse, yes, because you're seeing it growing up. You're seeing it like it's just. I was raised on rare meat. I'm gonna like rare meat when I grow up, type shit. Like you're raised what? It was the only thing I could think of right away. But you're watching, you know, your parent going through this shit. Like that's what they think might be normal or whatever. Don't get jazzy.
And what we resent, we become.
Yeah,
What we
100%.
resent, we become.
Right.
I mean, you know, I resented my dad and his addiction, and all the little intricate parts of it that were just like, how in the fuck could somebody be like that? And then what did I do?
Yeah.
All said and done, by the end of my addiction, I played out almost every bit of it to the T.
All right. To the T? No. Oh, yeah, you did. Under her breath. You did under your breath.
Fuck.
I really
I
appreciate
didn't
you.
fucking say that.
Wow, here we go. Just the dumpster opened up. The top of the trash can came off. Literally. Yes, she did. I appreciate you. Grab Kendra and wake her up and tell her she's back on. We're rotating. Thank you, dear. I really appreciate it.
It was great.
Thank you. Hey, you two. You two. When was the last time I had the two of you on the show at the same time?
The last time that we were on.
Last time we were on
You
the show.
smart asses. That's just like, oh, what are you doing? Someone's on the fence about this. Get off
about a
the
year.
fence.
I think it's been about a year.
At 2218.
Deuce,
2018,
wait.
Yep.
So, what's happened in that last year with you two? The growth, because I know I put a big spotlight on your relationship because I thought how cool it was that you guys were in a successful, happy relationship. Like, not all this drama shit you hear, blah, blah, blah. What's happened in this last year that you guys are okay sharing about? Anything?
We're engaged.
Ooh. Yes, please, Heather. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
You're engaged. Anything else?
We got an apartment.
Got an apartment.
Yeah. I know these answers. I'm just dry. I have the dun and then I think a rim shot and then you guys can't hear it. So basically, yeah, you two have grown a lot in your recovery and in your relationship. And I know that I did this to you guys before, like, oh, how you're able to be open with each other and be adults in this. And like, I would try to drive people to that answer, oh, because of recovery. But like, how does recovery, what's it like both you being in recovery and in a relationship? Does it ever get in the way? Or how do you guys manage your recovery while in a relationship together?
I think that we help each other grow in that aspect and hold each other accountable as far as like going to meetings and stuff. Like we have our own meetings that we go to. We have our own connections, our own people. And I think that that has worked out really well for us. I mean, we started going to We'll work together right away, and we still do that sometimes, but it's nice to be able to have his men's meeting, my women's meeting, and then like, you know, we just have our separate recovery lives, but we also have grown a life together too.
So, and I'm also kind of asking for my own personal reasons, but Kyle, is there ever a time where, or no, how do you deal with it being in the rooms of recovery and like your girls in the same meeting? Like, does it ever get in the way of your recovery at all?
No.
Did it ever, was it ever an issue?
At this time, I couldn't answer that.
Right, and
truthfully.
I know
I'd have to really dig. You know, one thing I'd say I'd really appreciate about what a relationship looks like in recovery is my recovery is my recovery, and her recovery is her recovery. So we don't play the whole like you need to be doing your step work. You need to call your sponsor. You know, we don't treat each other like that. Our relationship is our relationship, and our recovery is our recovery. You know, we just happen to be in recovery and in a relationship, and we don't use that we don't weaponize that to each other. So,
no, that's big, and I think I was starting to go down a path of like how the workings of you are in a relationship, and that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm sorry about that, but I think you worded that really well. Like your recovery is your recovery.
Yeah,
you're not worried about hers and vice versa, but also when stuff arises, you can lean on each other, but that goes to the relationship side of things. So I'll need to get into that. Do you have a higher power If so, what's that look like for you?
Yes, I do. I mean, that's been something that's been kind of challenging for me, like trying to navigate that because, I mean, I have stuff in the past from like church and stuff. So, like, I feel like that's put a barrier on my connection with my higher power. But, like, even like in the beginning, just knowing that there's something greater than me and that, like, I'm not doing this alone. And, like, that has helped me grow in my faith and, like, learn how to, like, pray, and like that's something that I've been practicing a lot because like that is something that I for some reason have struggled with, like letting go of that, you know. So it's different for me than it is from everybody else, but I think that everybody is at their own place in their recovery and everybody grows at their own time, you know. Like I look at Rob and him going through his years in recovery and then just in the last year or so finding his strong faith, you know. Like it took time, but he stuck with it and it came in when it was meant to. So
On the time it was supposed to be.
yes.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, he's a good example, I think so. So what does your guys' gratitude look like? Kyle, talk to me about your gratitude.
You know, I'm grateful to be alive, and how I show that is I treat people respectfully. You know, I call my mom on a regular basis. I call my friends on a regular basis. I make sure that I'm there if they need me. I go to work. You know, I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to, you know, DJ. I think his name is DJ.
Yep.
Like he was saying, man, I'm grateful that I have two legs that I was able to get up and stand up and get out of bed this morning.
Share about that guy, the TED Talk guy. You brought this up so many times.
Oh, yeah, man. So that was really important in my recovery. You know, I saw this guy. I think his name's like Nick. His last name I can't
Nick
pronounce.
V.
It's Nick V.
Yep.
He has no arms and no legs. And this guy is like a motivational speaker, goes around the world and talks. And the biggest takeaway that I got, it really wasn't anything that he was saying. It was more or less this guy is smiling. And he
Happy.
has no arms and no legs, man. And that really brought gratitude full circle for me, man. It's like taking the small little things of life for granted, because I had been doing that for so long. I tell people all the time, like, if just think, man, like you could walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's as basic as that.
were you able to pick something up because you have hands? Like, that's important to look at that kind of stuff. You know, I'm really grateful that I have that ability, because some people don't. And those are struggles that they deal with every day, and they can't necessarily fix that. You know?
No, I think that's. I think a lot of us have been on the internet or any YouTube. You see that dude, and I know who you're talking about when you first brought it up, because he's so damn happy.
Yeah.
He's in such a great mood, and he's wobbling around like a bowling pin, and it's like, what the hell? How can he? But and not trying to be funny, but that's what it's like. This dude's just hobbling around the stage, and it's like, I understand everyone has their own life, and life does show up. It happens. We get caught in our own shit. But like, it's as easy as that. Like, dude, I got you. You said that. You incorporated that in morning prayers. Like, thank you for the breath in my lungs, the movement in my joints, like the ability to even comprehend these words, like things like that are so easily taken for granted.
Dude, so I'll tell you something about that too, right? Like, that was my biggest. I learned that was like one of my biggest cop-outs. You know, when people want to talk about gratitude, I always tell them, look, dude, you got two hands, you got two legs, right? Like, you need to be grateful. At the same time, I'm taking for granted that same shit. I'm telling somebody like wake up, dude. Like,
Monkey see, monkey do. It's easy to do that. You out here? Thank you guys so much for coming on. You out here, D? Thank you, baby. I don't know if it. I guess yeah, maybe a cop out. You could call it that.
oh yeah, if you call me back.
Pull your pants up, buddy. Your pants are falling down. But you're right, and I don't know if that's a cop out, but telling someone to do something that you're not doing, sure, I guess. But then again, like, it caught on, and today, like, you're able to incorporate that into your life or your thought process, correct?
Yeah.
And you do, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a newer job that you didn't have when you're on this last time, and like now you have a whole new skill set. Like, you are what, a carpenter now?
Bathroom remodeling, lead technician.
Carpenter. You're a master carpenter now.
Not master.
I'll gas him up.
No carpentry for me.
Oh God, dude, you make cuts. You're carpentry.
I don't cut a thing.
Oh,
Except your finger.
Except fingers.
wow.
I
Thanks,
cut
Mama.
that.
Thanks, wifey.
8 stitches, baby.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
You got 9 more. Quit crying.
Yeah.
So your gratitude speaks as such, and like, I'm grateful for you, Kyle. You always have.
Yeah, man. I don't know if
shown
you've
up.
seen, but that memory popped up a couple of days ago from 2 years back when I was in a really dark place, and we went down to that coffee shop over.
Cup of Java.
Yep.
But you
and,
saved my life more than you think I did yours. Period.
Well, that night, then that's kind of how recovery works, right? Like we
Huh.
help each
Higher
other
power
through
shit.
different things, man. Like I was coming there because I needed support, and then all of a sudden it was, us having a conversation and you getting some too. So
That's how this works. It's full circle in my mind. Oh, it was on Facebook, remember?
yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate you, and I love you. And thank you for how you show up. Grazie, grazie. Kendra is sitting to my left. And Kenzie's in front of me.
Nice save.
I know, huh? What a jackass. So, Kenzie, is there anything I didn't bring up that you'd like to talk about?
No, I'm just blessed with being in recovery and like being able to accomplish the things that I've accomplished and like just sticking it out, you know?
That's your gratitude?
Well, yeah, sure.
What else could be some gratitude?
I don't know. I'm
right,
grateful for like my job. I'm grateful to have a job and like we were talking about on Wednesday, like being able to be trusted with like money with other people, like to be able to manage, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like I never would have thought that I would be in a position like that and like I'm very grateful for that. Like I'm grateful for relationships with my family to be able to like have a healthy relationship with him, to be able to pay my bills, you know?
Right.
Like there's a lot.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show again. And I'd hope the two of you young eventually newlyweds, will be back on the show.
Oh, we will.
Okay, good enough.
All right.
I know. You know what? Her and I had a conversation about this.
We did.
And I wasn't expecting you to show up because she said he might not be able to come. And that's okay. Because nowadays we have responsibilities.
And even still, he only needs to ask one of you
Yeah, 'cause-
who's coming, and the one who really matters' decision
Yeah,
is her.
skirts run the world. Skirts run the world. I love you guys. I do. Thank you
Love
guys.
you
I'm
too.
grateful for you
I love
guys.
you.
It wasn't if you were gonna be able to like come here or not. If you weren't gonna be here, you were gonna be somewhere you needed to be. If you didn't have to be there, you were gonna be here. So it really didn't matter if they asked you. Yeah.
Kendra.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you. Kendra, what do you hand them what do you tell someone who is struggling? Someone calls you and says, Kendra, I'm just struggling. I want to I want to go back to the life I had. I'm lost. What do you tell them?
Well, I tell them,
Stop it.
no, I would tell them, do you want to meet up? Do you want to do something together? Do you want to go to a meeting with me? Do you want to just have one-on-one time, you know? My addiction, when I relapse, I've talked about that, and I wish somebody would say, do you want to hang out? Are you okay? And I didn't get that in my, I would reach out and whatever, but it wasn't, I didn't feel. So, I mean, for me, I would tell them what's going on. I would ask them, I would have them open up to me and ask them questions, because there's a lot of people that do struggle and do reach out to me now than before, and do want to hear how am I doing, so it's like a reciprocated thing,
Right. And not to air business out, but like you're in a relationship with someone else who's in recovery. And I know I just had a couple on talking to them about recovery. What's that look like being in a relationship, being in recovery and going to do your recovery? He does his recovery. Like, is there any issues that ever arise with that? Or like, how does that look like for you?
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. Yeah, you're right. But
now in this time of recovery, I'm out doing my thing. I'm not wanting him to come with me all the time. I quit asking, before I was codependent on him and wanted him to be with me to show up to things and be together. This time I'm like, I'm going to women's meeting. I'm going to 2218. Like, I'm going to this sober event. You can come if you want to, but I'm not.
he doesn't dictate your actions on recovery.
Yes, so I mean today, I'm gone a lot now, where before it was on the other hand, like him working Well, I'm working and gone a lot because I'm out doing things with other people. So, I mean, it is conflicting to where I'm out and we're not having together time, a lot. So that's been a struggle for me and him.
So okay. So there could be some struggles that arise from it.
Make
Yep.
sure that catches my good side.
Right. And they're all your good side.
You ain't lying.
So, and like, before we even get to that point, like, I appreciate you coming on. Like, I was bugging you about it throughout the week, and I didn't know that you had already made plans. Like, yeah, we're coming. Da, da, da. I do appreciate you, Kendra. Thank you. So, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that I didn't bring up? While you think about that, let me explain something.
Yeah.
Usually, no, you think about what you want to talk about. Unless we're not, we're going into gratitude.
Right.
As the show goes on and the more time we have, like, this all happened at a bad time. I got in a terrible motorcycle accident the week we planned on starting this. I moved this from 2218 over to Will Work for Recovery. Didn't get it set up the way, like, there's still a lot that needs to be done with the show, including, like, some of the graphics. The room's not set up. There's usually, like, when I had it where there was guests that would come on, because it used to be 2 guests for, like, 2 hours, and we get into some conversations, and I'd always send out, like, a little write-up about what to expect, and, like, hey, have some topics you want to bring up or talk about. And now the way we're doing this is just a different format. When there's 5-10 minutes, you just can't really do stuff like that unless there's less people showing up. Then we can dive into some stuff. And I know we're almost crushing 2 hours, but like, that's why I say, like, is there anything I don't want someone to leave the show and be like, damn, I wanted to talk about this or that. And that's why I make sure to try to give you an opportunity, like, hey, is there something we didn't talk about? A lot of people think, like, I want to talk about sponsorship, or, like, I want to talk about the newcomer or something. You know what I'm saying? So if there's something we haven't talked about or we brought up when other people were on, this would be the time before I talk about your gratitude. Otherwise, what's your gratitude look like? That long-ass speech for that.
I know, right? I'm grateful to be sober today and have a voice, because all my life I haven't had a voice, I was always behind someone else's voice or what was going on. So, I'm blessed to have a voice, and I'm grateful to be sober and finding the true me in what I want to do in my life and who I am as a person today. I'm still soul searching on me, but today I'm proud of where I'm at. I'm over 21 months sober now.
And that's 20 months sober after coming in off of a good run.
Yes.
You were out on a good one.
Yeah. it was pretty bad,
A good one. Now listen, guys. I was at this. Do you care I break some
I don't
anonymity?
care.
All right. So 2218, they used to have the CMA meeting that her fiance, her man was he was really pivotal in when it started, big whatever. So they asked him to come back and share. And, like, he was like, Tim, I'm sharing. And I wasn't a CMA guy, but I still went to this because Ken was sharing, and you came to support him. But this was in what we would say is the horrors of our addiction. Do you recall that?
No, I don't
being there
remember.
for him? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, like, I wanted to tie this in somehow. Be like, even though you're out running, you still were showing up to stuff, like recovery stuff. Like,
all the time.
but, like,
all
I'm
the
not,
time.
yeah, all the time. Like, it's not that I'm knocking it. What I'm saying is, like, you didn't just, like, say, oh, fuck recovery, I'm done with all that shit. Like, you didn't never disappear from the, sure, it was funny. She was in there geeked. But trying to support him, sharing. And, hey, look, let's give him some credit. Like, he never, like, I have a relationship with him, and, like, just to let you know, like, he never was like, oh, she's out there fucking up using this and that. Never did he ever even, almost never, like, he admitted that you were out still doing your thing. And it was like, that could have definitely been a time where he's like, yeah, dude, I'm going through this because of, never did he say shit like that. So I don't know if that means anything or not, but just letting you know, after I tell a story like that, like, he was sharing, you were over there just trying to gnaw on your earlobe. It was the shit, though. So what's your gratitude look like
Well,
today?
It's that dumb dope. Damn.
Oh, like, I don't know if you were. It's what it was. Hey, you don't want, I'll tell you about the horrors of my addiction if we want, but that wasn't even that good compared to some of our stories. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I still came to meetings. I still came to events. I didn't care how bad I looked, I was scared for myself, you know. I was scared of what I was doing to myself because I was just dying inside, you know.
Right.
But you know, I'm just grateful to have be in recovery and be around people and have some solid women, you know. There's a few people like Kenzie, Samantha, you know, that I've gotten close to and reconnected, and you know, Shauna Becker, you know, just a few people that I have in my corner today that I'm blessed to have, you know, people that I can count on. So I don't know. I'm just grateful to be here and to come, and I was sleeping on the couch and you know, and my kids have their mom back, you know, a mom in our own home. You know, I bought a house a year ago, so you know.
Can't wipe the smile off your kid's face. Look at that.
I bought a new car, you know, so all these things are coming true, and now for me is to maintain them and follow through continuously with my program in recovery, you know, because, you know, this time if, you know, I have everything I wanted, you know, so what more, you know, and I got to learn to be okay with myself and continue to see the blessings in each day.
Right.
Amen.
Amen. Kendra, I love you. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you. Can I get you to come back on again?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, Mike Pass, your batter's up. All right.
The kids
Or
say
unless
hi.
if you don't want to. No, you hop on. Grab it. Come on. It's time for you guys to say hi before we wrap. You guys leave. All right. Who are you? Right into the mic. You got to get right on the mic.
Go on the mic, say Jalen.
Oh, all day you're dancing in front of the camera. Now you're shy? Now you're shy? All right, what's your name?
How was that one?
Jalen?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, Jalen. Was there enough candy? God, do I sound like a creep? You get some candy?
Need more candy?
Yeah, let's even make it way weirder. You get some candy? Candy? Oh, all right, that's enough creepy shit. Did you get some candy or not?
Yes.
All right. I figured you'd be all jazzed up on here. Just what do you think of this place?
I like it.
Do you? It's not just, oh, it's going to be boring. We got to go with mom to that place again. No, it's kind of fun.
We got candy.
There's candy. Yeah, a creepy old guy with candy. All right, little sis, your turn. Anything you want to say?
No.
Okay, your turn. Come on, headphones on. And look at you got the big screen on you. Look at that.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it works if you work it.
It works if you work it. Go ahead. Say it.
It works if you work it.
Yes, it
What's your
does.
name?
Makaylee.
Makaylee, did you get any candy?
Yes.
Would you come back?
Yes.
All right, you'll tell mom you want to come back next Friday?
Mom, I want to come back next Friday.
Well, I mean, when you're at home and throughout the week. What you like this place though? You do?
Yes.
It's fun.
Yes.
Good. Anything you want to tell all the people out there that you think aren't listening?
It's fun.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Thank you, Kendra. Are you're good? You don't want to come back on? You good? It's up to you. All right. Now, what would you like to bring up and talk about? This is open mic time.
What would I? You know, what is it called? The One You Feed. It's a podcast that the host of that show, he's a recovering addict. He did heroin, and now he has a show where he starts it off with a parable, and it's what a grandson and his grandfather was walking through the woods, and he was telling his grandson that we all have these two wolves inside of us. One represents everything good, and the other one represents everything bad, and they're always fighting for control inside of us. And the grandson says, "Well, which one wins?" And then he says, "The one that you feed." And then he has a whole bunch of forward thinkers, addicts, doing the thing, talking about what that means to them. And if anybody's having any troubles, give an episode. They have like 9+ years on there.
What's the name of it again?
The One You Feed.
The One You Feed?
Yeah.
I mean, typically someone's not going to sit and advertise another person's podcast. But,
Hey.
bro, if it's recovery,
Is recovery.
then I'm
yeah.
up for it. I am. Talk a little bit more while I type my OS.
And I bring that up to.
Don't talk about my friend like that.
What did I say?
That you type like a slow ass.
Oh,
I said don't talk about my friend
the
like
one
that.
you feed or the one you feed?
The One You Feed.
Okay.
And yeah, it's about finding a balance, and it's not about feeding the good one or the bad one more than the other. It's just about finding that balance, when to moderate and when to delegate your emotions appropriately. It's being assertive. They're doing an intricate way of asking you how to be diplomatic with your shit, with yourself in your life and with what you're going through and stuff. And if you're going through something, you can find a title that'll tickle your fancy. But yeah, that's it. Just don't feed your bad wolf more than you do your good wolf, but don't try to snuff it out. Because we all need to find that balance in and out of recovery.
So I got a question that came up, and it made me think about this. Earlier, I was like, oh, when I get Dustin back, or someone else will talk about this study thing, but it makes me think of the story about the wolf you feed. They put these rats. And what the story of this was it was basically backing up that the opposite of addiction is connection.
Connection, yeah.
It's a great TED Talk.
And the one about the rats where
Yep.
they put them in here, and they're feeding one dope and they're feeding the other one water, and then the one that's they isolate one, don't isolate.
Park, they
yes.
called it.
Why don't you tell the story?
So sorry.
No, because I'm
over.
over here. No, I need someone who knows it.
I know it.
One of you guys, go ahead, because I don't. I chop it up. I guarantee.
I don't know who it was that said
And that's
it.
all.
The name of the TED Talk.
That's all. Who
but
cares? It's just the gist of the story.
The gist of the story is that they put rats in just a plain enclosure with cocaine water, I believe, and then they put rats in like a rat park, like a skate park for rats, and they have water and food and cocaine water and lots of other rats, and the rats all play together and communicate and build relationships, and they ignore the cocaine water, but the rats that are alone with nothing to do and feel are isolated they have 2 water bottles. They can go to clean water or they can go to cocaine water, and they constantly go back to the cocaine water.
Opposite of addiction is connection.
Connection.
It never made sense when I was at New Way. I had this counselor, her name was Karen. She used to always say it. And I think it didn't matter. Like I said, nothing gets in the way of my recovery. Meaning, if I'm told that if it's something I don't know about, like I Googled how to get off heroin. That's how I found recovery. Like, that's just my story. I didn't have a bunch of friends in recovery. Like, whenever I tell my story, people laugh at that, but it's the truth. I was on the train out of dope, how to kick heroin. They said, go to detox. That's what I did. Like, I followed Google's advice. And
shout out to Google.
Big shout out. So, like, all these things, like, if someone told me something, especially if it's some shit I didn't know, like, I was going to do it. Like I say, about the higher power thing, about doing a 4-step, all this shit, like, none of it scared me because I want recovery. I used selfishly until I was done. The legal system wasn't going to get me to stop. The girls in my life weren't going to, my family, health, none of that shit. Like, you hear people come in here like, I had to stop for my kids. I had to stop for this reason. That I just used until I was like, fuck, I'm done. I just didn't know how to be done. So, Karen used to always say this thing, and like, I didn't need to know what it meant. I just didn't. And I didn't care. Whatever. What I'm getting at, I know I went on a tangent to explain how I know what this means is like 3 or 4 years later into recovery, someone busted that little video out for me. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, shit, the fellowship, being here. Because I always would share that, like, after a year or so in recovery, I saw recovery as a 2-part thing. Like, the whole doing step work, sponsorship, but then the other side is fellowship. Like, I can't only be in these rooms. I need some connection.
Right.
I didn't look at it as connection before, just a fellowship, but this human, that's why like COVID sucked, man. I didn't like no Zoom shit. That's why 2218 was a good fit at the time. I needed this in-person shit, like, I need other people. I don't know why, codependent shit, whatever. I needed other people.
It's just how we are as humans.
You've been in the room. How much time do you got?
I got all time in the
No,
world.
clean time. How much clean?
Oh, clean time. 2 days, I'll have 6 months.
6 months. Where you at?
I'm almost 6 months as
6
well.
months, and you're 6 months.
A year.
That's right, glow in the dark. So I got something else to play with. I've heard so many different things when it comes to the glow in the dark tag. But come on, your guys' show. What are we talking about? It's a free for all time.
I want to say that when it comes to connection, you gotta be mindful how you say that and who's listening, because it's not. Don't just be still in addiction and be like, well, I got a connection, so I can get sober. I can kick this now. You're connecting with the people that's
Right.
keeping you in that frame of mind. You got to connect with is just healthy connections.
Healthy connections.
And like, yeah, that all it all adds up eventually, because you don't know who you're saving. Like, I like to give out random hugs, high fives, jokes, whatever. And it's like, it's not, you don't know who you're affecting with that. Like, you come to a meeting, somebody's talking about relapsing or wanting to, whatever, or burning desire. And then you help them out, you say something to them or whatever. And now before, when they're by themselves and they want to go do that, they might think of, oh, yeah, D's pretty cool, which I am. But he's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm
I
not
put you on mute, so if you need to sneeze.
I'm not nobody to disappoint or anybody to prove anything to, but it's like, I don't want to let him down.
Right.
Because he's, like, it's building that connection and getting somebody to realize that there's a better way of being, and there are cool people that you look up to,
Right.
to where you don't want to let them down.
That's kind of like how my story was. Like, I mean, if you're out there running and gunning, like, you got to have some type of smarts. Like, this is gearing up to explain something. Like, I was out there, and you have to, especially if you're doing some grimy shit, like, you got to have called street smarts, whatever, but to read people or whatever. When you come into these rooms, like I was told, find the winners. Like, it sounds corny as shit, but you can tell, or I could tell without an issue. I'll walk into a room and I'll see 30 guys in there or something. You can tell who's happy in recovery. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell someone that's doing recovery.
You can tell what point in their recovery they are.
Yep. Not just on some, I'm looking for some pussy, or I'm looking for the new plug, or I'm just looking for someone to get my card signed. Like, I mean, but don't get it kind of twisted on my end of things. Like I said, I was never in the rooms of recovery till I got in the rooms. Like, I don't have all these stories of coming in and out. So I didn't know, it didn't click right away that when I was in my inpatient that everyone else was on the same wavelength as me. I thought they were, is what I'm saying.
Agreed.
Like,
I went through that too.
I learned it the hard way. I got out and I had a group of guys, and Dustin was part of that group. Dustin and Derek, out of like 30 of us, are the only ones that are still alive. But a lot of them got out and like it was off to the race. I'm like, what the fuck? Why'd you just spend 30 days? And I don't know. It just didn't click. Early recovery until I started getting into some meetings. And Paul will be a big proponent of coming on here and saying, like, we'll work for recovery as a jumping point. Like, you come here to get connected. Like, this, some people call it their home group, but like the ones that do, it's usually the ones that are coming to that 5 o'clock men's meeting or that early morning AA meeting. But like these big meetings, like, they're a great spot to come bump heads with people and be like, all right, well, where do you be going to meetings or whatever? Like, that's the idea, to branch out from here. I know we want to have people keep coming back, and we're trying to grow. You know what? Shit, I forgot to talk about that. Also, we also do reentry programs and stuff like this. It's the reentry program. There you go. We're starting it back up. We had someone give us, we have 15 brand new computers back behind that door, right over her shoulder, right there where I'm pointing. And it's like it's cool. This computer guy comes in here and he does these classes that it just refreshes all sorts of stuff like resumes, and it's just another asset that this center provides amongst a bunch of other things like we're doing. Come winter times when a lot of this stuff will get going again. But that's what Will Work does, and it's just another facet of things that they offer. So connection. You guys can't let me keep talking like that because I will.
No, yeah. Another thing I wanted to point out that I just realized that we take for granted is we should appreciate that we're, no matter how many views we have right now, we've still wasted way more hours talking and tweaking about nothing. drinking. You know, if you think whatever your drug is, I'm sure I'm positive that it came to a point where it was you and that person talking with a whole bunch of other people with their thumbs up their asses, talking about bullshit, nothing that's ever gonna get done, and then it goes down to just you and that person still talking. No matter what your vice is, you still wasted time with somebody where it could have been like more productive and stuff. And then this is the best. This is a good way to to talk.
And I'll tell you guys, like I've said for a while, this kind of clicked for me. It was like this Friday night, this podcast thing. This is my Friday night meeting. Like, call it what you will. For a long time, like I was saying, the way the show used to be would be me chopping it up with 2 other people. But now it's this new thing where we're switching up people. I don't really care. This is what I do for my Friday night meeting. This is what I've done for 3 years now. If someone benefits from it, fucking sweet. I really don't care. I don't mean it. I don't care. What I'm saying is, like, this is what I do on Friday nights now versus what your Friday nights used to look like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I'm okay with this. It doesn't cost me shit, really. A little subscription to StreamYard. I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story. At the end of the show, you'll hear me tell the audience, and I'll tell them now, like, if no one's told you that yet today, like, I love you. You're loved. You're worth the fight. Fight for your recovery. It's scrolling across the screen. I think, no, that's this one here.
I love you too, man.
Like, some people just don't ever hear that shit. And I didn't realize that. Someone sent me, they sent a letter. I had a phone number on it, but no name, anonymous, saying, like, I was listening to your show. Basically, I had a noose tied, thinking about suicide for the last few weeks, real depressed, this and that. And I used to do the show with Tad. And I don't know if it was him or me. It doesn't really matter. But we said that, like, you're loved. If no one's told you this, like, I love you. Your life is worth fighting for. This dude was, he not okay with us breaking anonymity, although he's been on the show now since. But he just celebrated 2 years of clean time. But he was listening to the show talking about suicide. Matter of fact, now I brought that up, I gotta do like this. Because someone said, I love you. This man didn't jump out the bridge, basically. For me, that's a reason I'll keep doing this. One person, that's all it takes. Like right now, it shows like 1 view. Usually times whatever number's on there, you can times it by about 12 or 15 because there's 7 different outlets you find the show. And the one online, I don't even get the algorithms from. Why do we go down that road? Talk to me. Bring up something.
Wow. Okay, so shout out to TED Talks. I'm on a TED Talk roll right now.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Corday. Has anyone seen Corday?
Corday.
TED Talk.
I don't know.
It's
Talk about it.
fantastic. He talks about high level living. No, high level living. But one of the things he does talk about is the whole networking, right? Or not networking, but
A rapper?
yeah. Who's in your, he's like 24. And he talks about how, anyone that's negative in your life, get them the fuck out. Done. Block them off your phone right now. And
Kevin Gates, he went on a big rant about the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're negative, I'm cutting you out. Sorry if you're my mom, my brother, my
Yep.
best friend. Like, that negativity, around, it brings you down.
Yep.
It brings you down. Keep going. I didn't mean to
No,
sideline your
that's
story.
okay. And then someone else brought it up in our meeting here today during their share about same thing. Your old life, your old connects, your old using friends, quote unquote. Get them out of your life. And I got to say, like, one of the best things that happened to me was the day the police raided my apartment and took my phone. And that's how I got out of jail, was because I handed them my phone and I never got it back. And I never re-tapped into my phone when I got my new one. And I lost everyone's
Smart move.
contacts,
All the plugs.
pictures of my son, things like that. But you know what? I'll get those back somehow, some way.
Right.
But I don't want nothing. No offense
No.
to those people. I love you deeply, and I hope that you have found a better, safer way for your life and other friends that never were using. But at the end of the day, I needed to start over. And that's what I appreciate about these meetings, and this one in particular. I mean, it is a launch pad to find a social circle that you feel very loved, comfortable, and safe. And that was the other thing I wanted to touch on real fast, is that my whole life I felt dismissed. I was the little sister. I was just the hairstylist. I didn't go to college, and I was just this, just that. And when I came into an NA meeting, like, when you share, it matters. And whether I'm getting something out of it, I may say something hopefully someday that impacts someone in a really positive way or speaks to them in a way to start recovery, stay in recovery, whatever they got to do.
But you know what? I make this. I'm pretty loud about this. Is when it comes to service work or someone's worth, and I'm not saying you're over here saying you're not worthy or you're worthless. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about anyone that shows up to a fucking meeting. You are doing service work.
Yep.
You might not know it, but like you share something. You never know. You just don't know the effect you have on someone over here in the corner who for some reasons got their eyes on, like, damn, I like the way he rolls his hat. Like, and then they got their eyes on you. Like, it's the smallest little things make a difference throughout the day. And you might share some little thing that this dude's like, all right, oh, fuck it. If he can share, I'll share too. Like, I don't care. I'm going to share. Gets it off his chest instead of going home and beating the shit out of his kids.
You really like my hat, man?
Whatever.
like
You know what I'm saying?
the
Like, I like how she pulled her hair back tight. I'm just saying, like, we never, by you not showing up and sitting in a seat is a disservice. If you are in recovery and you could be here, like, it just makes me think of what you're saying. Like, you don't, when you're like, so hopefully someday I say something impact, you don't know, like the shit you've shared on the show already, like you don't know the impact. I wasn't telling some dude I love you so he doesn't kill himself.
Right.
I didn't know. I just know doing the next right thing and doing what, fuck it, selfishly makes me feel better. There's an effect. As long as it's not like maniacal or in vain or, you know, nasty.
And I feel like if you feel like you're the person in the meeting that can't resonate or use what somebody else has said, but you've got that that foundation in you already to, you know, you don't really need to hear that. There's a chance that you're supposed to be the one talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You're supposed to be the one that has the words to share.
Agreed on that. I have group members. Shout out to New Way again.
New Way.
Anyways, that one don't want to go to meetings because they don't feel like they have anything to hear. And it pisses me off so much. But also, I say there could be someone in the room that looks like you, talks like you, voted for the same person who, not to bring in politics, but like whatever.
Guarantee those people are in their first 5 months or something.
But you know
But
what?
I'm just
go
saying,
ahead.
like, maybe, just maybe you showing up could be a connection, not just for you, but for that person. And don't fucking tell me it doesn't feel good for yourself to help someone.
100%. Listen, Paul, and I don't need to keep quoting him. I'll say it myself. Like, everyone has a purpose, like whatever that may look like. That's even a little too deep. If you're looking for a reason not to be here, you got some more work to do on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look for reasons to be here. Look
Yep.
for reasons to stay. I can always find a reason why. Fuck, look at that wall's not even done. It's garbage. I don't want to look at that shit. I'm leaving. There was a reading. I'm just whatever. Like if I will find a reason not to want to be here. If I want to find a reason, I will find one. If there's something I want to find not to like about you, I will find something not to like about you. It's weird when you start doing the opposite of that shit. When you're like, damn, I like velvet table covers. Fuck it. I can write my little name. I know it's corny, but whatever. You start looking for reasons to be part of instead of a part of. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. It starts adding up from what I've found.
You mean apart from?
Apart from. I know I was going too quick and hey man, thanks for calling me out.
We love you.
But I do think like it does make a difference. To find reasons to stay. Like that goes hand in hand with any of this shit. And I think I don't know if you were bringing that up, but like our old connects, like if I go, I don't know, they say change your person, places, and things. I use dope everywhere. I did. I shot dope in almost every bathroom in Minneapolis. On every alley I'd met my dope men at. Everywhere in South Minneapolis. I can't avoid person, places, and things. People, sure. The phone thing, like you said, like me 86 in my phone when I got clean was probably the best thing I did because I know my addict brain would have been up on my phone. But on the other hand, too, with getting into recovery and trying to find out what works for you, like I didn't know. For me, I just didn't know. Like I'm saying, I had to Google it. And once I got in here, I had to figure out what the winners look like. Mm-hmm. And I grabbed onto them for dear life and just kept sticking with them until I could figure it out on my own. And damn, I keep forgetting what I'm trying to tell you guys, so I keep babbling on. Whatever, speak. Your turn. I said it like a dog. I'm sorry. I mean, no, your turn. I keep forgetting to make like.
No, she just gets caught in headlines.
Yeah, I do.
All right, well, share about something.
Um,
I love this. This is it's later than the show usually goes, so we're good. I mean, yeah, we're way over, which there's no timeline, but this is why I'm okay. Just I never talk this much on the show, so come on. What are you feeling?
you know what? It's not anything to do with the subject, but
Good.
one thing I do like to do by myself that I didn't get to do this year was go fishing.
There's still
That's a
time.
disservice.
Yeah, there's
Fall fishing, you go muskie fishing.
That is definitely a form of self-care.
Yes, it is. I don't even fish, and I know that.
We used to have this someone that was really big time part of this show. Was producer then co-host was this girl named Elena, and we had a segment at the beginning, self-care with Elena. Like that's a huge part of recovery. We forget to do that shit. You need some you time. Like so you know what? Damn, that's a good question I'm gonna start having to incorporate. What do you do for self-care nowadays in recovery? What do you do for your own self-care?
Lately, it's been just going for hikes in the woods, like, trails, seeing nature, water. I just said something about isolation, but there's something about nature and filling my cup that just you can't get anywhere else. You can't get it from TV. You can't get it from your
Solitude and
couch.
isolation are two different things.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because
It's okay to be alone in solitude.
yes, and
There's a difference between that and isolating.
But see, what's isolating for you might be solitude for me.
Exactly.
That's why I'm a real big proponent about your recovery is your recovery.
Exactly.
My self care is sitting in front of a TV for an hour or two. I enjoy it. That's we're on a show and I don't want to get all nasty on you guys, but that type of self care for me. But no, I hear about that. Some people are like, I started isolating. I just sit in front of a TV, and like for me, that's not isolating. That's mental health helping for me. That I just can go escape. Like I know my people get upset with the way I do things. Like I go to sleep to cartoons. I'll throw on some Rick and Morty. Like you can tell, yeah. Like American Dad, anything Adult Swim. Like I go to sleep to that shit. I don't know why. I just do. Like that's. Calms me. Yeah, see the little. I get the same look.
No. I go to sleep to Dateline, so that's a situation
Hell no,
right
I'll
there.
be murder dreaming.
I have a question.
King of the Hill.
Shoot.
Would it be a problem putting in a segment?
Before you even ask, this is the stuff I ask from the audience and my guests, whoever come on. Any ideas for the show? Any suggestions for the show? I want them. So come on, a new segment? Hell yes.
Got to find a different name for it because I don't want it to be glorifying it, but you can't ignore the fact that we've gotten some great stories with our war stories. But I want to have a segment where you talk about war story that's not too triggering. Like me, I met what's his name, Seth or something, the guy who made Butterfly. Come my lady, come my lady.
Oh, yeah.
I was in an alleyway and I was in Vegas. This happened just last year. I'm mad because my phone got stolen. I was being gang stalked, but no, I was walking past looking for somebody to buy something from, and I saw them crouching down in the alley. I didn't have on my glasses, and I'm like, I walked past because I see a chick that I wanted to get at. And so I'm like, if I can't find this person, I'm gonna double back, and then I'm gonna work my magic with her and get my way into this group for free. And I walked back, ended up, it was a dud deal, and I'm like, I say something funny, and I'm good at playing the background where nobody knows that you're there, but saying the right thing that gets you in there when they notice that you're there. You don't never
I
get
call
that.
those zingers.
Yeah, you never get that. What are you even doing here? But I'm like, I say something, and then he is crouched down, and then he's like, what? And then I'm like, oh man, this dude might be with the shits. I think he might be on something. But and then he walks up to me real slow, like, what'd you say? And I'm like, nah, I said something. I'm like, ended up saying, no, my bad. I can't see nothing. I can't hear you without my glasses.
I can't hear you without my glasses.
Yeah, and no, he said that. No, he said that to me. He was like, I can't hear you without my glasses. I'm like, I'm the exact same way. And then I repeated what I said. He laughed and stuff. I'm like, yo, you look hella familiar, man. And I'm like, bro, I know, like, I had just started doing like rehabs and inpatients and stuff there. So I'm like, was I in rehab with you or something? He was like, yeah.
I used to love that song.
Boy,
Come, my lady, come.
my lady.
man's was gone though. Hold on.
He was, yeah, come on.
He was. I see him. I'm like, yeah, I'm in Crazy Town, Butterfly. I'm like, oh shit! I was just watching the remake that little buddy made of your song, the remix that you were just in, and I was thinking, man, because they did a little blooper thing. He's like, yeah, we're here on the set. I'm like, you were tweaking on that video, bro. And he was like, yeah, it was. I'm like, but he had the 1,000-yard stare, is looking at you, but right through you.
Bug eyes.
And you can tell he was going, because it's like the kind where your eyes are about to like go
They're
opposite
fighting
direction.
each other.
Man, I had Punky, he was doing the show on Hulu, because he's dating Punky Brewster. I had her number.
Raymond Simone. No.
Soledad.
Yes.
Damn.
I always figured her name.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I had her number in my phone. I knew what she looked like. I knew who she was. Beautiful as hell. I'm like, yes, I got her number. Oh, yes. And like, I ended up like telling him like, yo, you could be going through what I'm going through right now. Like, he just lost thousands of dollars, like off the rip from Landon to there and all this stuff. And he needed a phone. And I'm like, hey, I have nothing to do. I'm here for you, man. And not because he was a celebrity, just because I felt for him and what he was dealing with. And like, yeah, he probably had that, naivety about being a celebrity and like not knowing that he was getting worked for all this money. So I ended up walking with him miles and miles, too many miles. From one, if you know how far it is from Fremont to walk to the
Luxor.
Stratosphere or the tall tower, whatever.
That's the Strat.
It's a far walk.
they were
And
next to
he's like, well, we're about to go. They know me there, man, but I haven't been there in a while, so there's a chance we might get like shot at or something. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then I'm like, do you still need my phone? And I'm like, we're not smoking or nothing. You're not giving me any money. You're not promising me that we're on the show. You're just saying that there could be cameras around right now. But all I care about is that I have Punky Brewster's number in my phone, and I want to bounce. And I ended up just walking the other way. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't know how I got out of it, or he took a wrong turn or something. But I'm like, you're on your own, dog. And like, I wish I never lost his number.
Now wait. There's one key thing to this story that you didn't capitalize on. Did you ever reach out to Soli Moon Fry or not?
Oh, yeah, Soleil. That was
Soleil.
No,
Bomb.
that's the thing, because I had just what.
It's okay.
Exactly.
It's a trap
And
anyways.
I hate telling these kinds of stories where, because I have like, you've been in jail and people telling you stories and how they was with this girl and this girl and this girl. I'm like, did you smash?
Right.
Did you touch
yeah.
anything?
Right.
And nothing happens. And you're like, oh, cool story, man. You're so almost cool.
No, but with Butterfly, listen, like I see what you're saying. I don't know how we'd incorporate like the using story segment or we could
Like you see,
Possibly like have an outline. So when you end the story, it ends with why you need to be in recovery. It's not just
there's gotta
the story.
be. It can't be
it's
just
gotta wrap up
yes.
back into that.
But like I always talk about, look, man, I was a heroin.
I can
Like
wrap that up. I can do it. I could bring you full circle.
bring it.
That makes me grateful to realize that I'm still that kind-hearted person who would help a
Yes,
person out
yes.
because I realize that they're going through some hard things. I'm grateful to realize that if I were to ever be in that situation again, it would not happen because one, I'm sober. Two, I would never want to lose Punky Brewster's number again. And three, I know that I'm not going through anything anymore, so I don't have to worry about that CRS or can't remember shit, or
Right.
or CFS can't find shit. And so I'm grateful that I have my mind intact for me to be ready to be myself and be who I need to be in any situation that God puts me in.
So like we have a using story segment with the happy ending, or a
Recovery
learn
ending.
yes,
Mic drop.
we could something.
I feel you though on losing numbers. I helped out a few prominent sports people in the Twin Cities that we would all know their names on Sunday afternoons, and I lost their phone numbers, and that kind of bums me out because I
My
used to be
auntie
like, "Look
used to
who
braid
I
Randy
know."
Moss's hair. So
Well, that's really cool, but he doesn't play anymore.
he doesn't, and he cut his hair now.
Randall.
You can braid my hair.
Oh,
Randall Moss.
Anyways,
All right,
so like I can
come
relate
on.
to that.
All right, you guys, listen. 10:30,
Yeah,
2.5 hour show. What do we want to talk about before I go into your guys'
Self-care, we were
gratitude?
back- can we get back
Self-care.
to
You
the
brought that up.
self-care?
You know what? What do you do for self-care?
What do I do for self-care? So, what's interesting is I do the same things I did while using, but I actually enjoy the self-care part of it. Like, I really love to make meals and cook food and try new recipes, and that's really a form of self-care. And before it was just, I got to cook for the family, or for myself because I should sustain. And now I actually truly enjoy it again, and it's really, like, that's my flow. That and I like to just put music on and dance. That's like a really fun thing for me. And being in a sober house, it's not as easy. So
yeah, I do that too. I put on a good Chris Brown song, and I practice my dance moves for when I get on the dance floor.
yeah. Can we have recovery dance club?
I'll show you guys. Just remind me after the show. How do I spell your names?
Shawn, SHAWN.
SHAWN. Just DJ.
DALARIAL, or DJ.
Can you pronounce that?
NICOLE.
Delario.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Did I have you guys talk about gratitude? I did before I booted you earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go around. Is there anything you'd like to add to the show or say before we log out?
Actually, DJ, I'm thankful for you bringing me here for the podcast tonight.
That's what's up.
And you know what? Side note, I'm grateful for you bringing her on this podcast too. More the merrier. It's a tricky thing to do. Like I said, I come from 2+ years of doing this same show with 2 hours a person, and to incorporate this 5 to 10 minutes a person, it's tricky to do. That's why I'm like more the merrier. But honestly, like the less I show up, the longer I get to do what we're doing now. This is my element, to be just chopping it up. People get nervous to come on this show, and I'm like, all it is pretend the mic's ain't here and we're just sitting here talking about life. And right now, my life's been recovery, so it's easy to talk about recovery, but that's what this podcast is. Just a bunch of addicts, alcoholics, methaholics, whatever, talking about recovery. Anything you want to add?
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I am really glad I came back. I took a couple people home to their sober
okay.
houses, and then I returned, and I don't regret that at
Don't
all.
you guys have curfews?
My curfew's midnight.
Midnight? No?
Yeah, but then they know I'm good. I already let them know.
Well, I've had
Usually if
people
you're
on,
at a-
I've signed shit. I mean, when there was like 9 o'clock, that was 7 years, that was a long time ago. Whatever. So just if there's ever anything you need to say that you're here, I got shit for you.
I was nominated senior group member today.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I can't hate. When I was at my inpatient at Fairview, they had this thing called the wing leader. We had wing leader meetings. The person who run the whole floor. I was the wing leader. I got
That's
voted in. I was
awesome.
like, hey.
I see
talk
you.
about ego.
I see
Were there
you.
wings?
No, but we're like the flying. Who knows? So listen, if you're out there tonight and you're struggling, please reach out. Come on down to 2520 North 2nd Street. That's Will Work for Recovery every day of the week. Weekdays, 6:30 a.m. Wednesdays, 5 p.m. We got a men's meeting and a women's meeting. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we have pretty big meetings at 7 o'clock. And on Tuesday and Thursday, we have meetings at 7 o'clock as well. A little more intimate, but they are both growing. Saturdays we do a 7 o'clock meeting, and I think we have a midday meeting as well. Sunday we have a 5 o'clock great meeting that happens here, and then we also do the barbecuing, the barbecuing bash. It's a blast all week long. There's some shit to do down here at Will Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. We talked about Serenity Village tonight. That's 4100 Douglas Drive over in Crystal. We talked about New Hope Avenue. That's 7550 Bass Lake Road, I believe. Don't quote me on that address. Again, we did talk about some suicide stuff, and if you're struggling, like if there's we know mental health's real, and if you're out there struggling tonight, please just reach out. There's a suicide hotline on there. You've heard tons of people come on the show tonight, talk about the recovery, talk about what life looks like for them tonight. There is another way. All I beg of you to do is give it a shot. Like if you haven't been told, let me tell you, it's I love you. You're worth it. You're worth the fight. You're worthy. You're worth this recovery and this other shot at another life. So also the 4 of you, I really appreciate the 3 of you. Wow. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Serious. Thank you guys each for coming on and sharing from the hearts. Last thing I want to ask, will you come back on the show?
I will. I'm trying to take it over. I'm trying to be a part of it.
Hey, I need a co-host. I'm game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean, co-host.
No, you can gas it up.
I'm coming.
All right. Because I also have, we can incorporate, I have another one of these. We incorporate another one. Then I can get 8 mics. And then, we got ideas. All right. We love you guys. Till next week, tune in. Come on down. Check us out.
Keep coming back.
Remember, little by little, a little becomes a lot.
It's a bad day, not a bad life.